Probably 77, 78.
That's where he finds residents mowing for 2 or 3 hours. Just, yeah, I wanted to be a. Tell me I talked to him now. I love that truck, especially when you're not towing all the time.
Not very good on fuel. I mean, definitely not very good.
But still, average I get 16.5 miles a gallon.
His name is Jack Jones.
2001 GMC, halftime, 11 miles a gallon. Yeah, but it's different.
West Palm TV, 30 seconds.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm going to call to order the City of West Palm Beach Special Magistrate hearing. Today is July 19th. It is 9:04. My name is Amity Barnard. I'm a special magistrate for today's hearing. The first thing I'm going to do is swear everybody in who's here to testify on any items on today's agenda. So if you're here to speak on any items on today's agenda, if you could stand and raise your right hands for me, including all city staff. Do you all swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much. A bit about process. It looks like nearly all the cases are violation hearings. There's a fine mitigation at the end, but for all the violation hearings, the city will call the case. The city's code staff will come to the podium on my left here. They will present their case. You will come to the podium on my right. They will show you on the screen the documents that they like to enter into evidence. You will then get an opportunity, once they've presented any evidence, any testimony, to present your side of the case, any witnesses or testimony you have, cross-examine any city staff or city witnesses, and at the end of the back and forth, I'll make a ruling, and you'll ultimately end up with an order in the mail. Remember, all your testimony is given under penalty of perjury this morning. You've all been sworn, so with that, I'll turn it to the city for the first case.
First case number 1016 State Street, CE 23040290, number 1016 State Street.
Good morning. My name is Ryan. I'm Ryan Brown. I'm the Chief Plumbing Inspector for City of West Palm. Code case number is CE 23040290. Address where the violation occurred is 1016 State Street. The violation I observed is a demolition or remodel of a duplex. They were removing electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and structural components. I issued a violation and posted a stop work order on the job on 4/26/2023. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on 6/26/23. It was posted at City Hall on 6/27/23 and was posted on the property on 6/27/23. The certified mail was delivered and was left with an individual on 6/29/23. The observations and what's depicted in the pictures is a demolition and an intent to remodel a duplex, which does require permits and inspections. The pictures being shown do truthfully and accurately depict the alleged violations and reflect what I'm testifying to. Permits and inspections are definitely required for the work being shown for all trades, plumbing, mechanical, electrical, and structural. Permits have not been applied for or issued, and inspections have definitely not been performed. Included in my file is a copy of the notice of violation and the affidavit of posting. I have not been able to make contact with the owner. The city recommends 60 days to get permits and inspections, or $50 a day after that.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we reviewed, do they truthfully, can you hear me?
It's on.
Do the photographs that we've reviewed truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, they do.
Can you just tell us a little bit more? You had said electrical, mechanical, plumbing, I think you said special components?
Structural.
Structural. Can you just tell us a little bit about what it is you specifically observed regarding electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and structural?
Well, the pictures show a demolition where they are basically gutting the house. Drywall is a portion of the structural component, so that would require building inspections. Electrical was removed and intended to be replaced with newer equipment. The plumbing, the bathtub is removed, so that is a plumbing permit or sub-permit of the demo. And the mechanical components, anytime they go that far, I mean, that's a level 3 alteration, so they're going to need permits for virtually every component that goes back into putting it all back together.
Thank you very much. Do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, stop work order or red tag, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. Is a respondent present for this case? Do we have any respondents here?
No.
Nobody signed in?
For this case, it's
Okay.
all that serve as this case.
Okay, thank you. Seeing that the respondent's not present, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting and the delivery of the green card that you have good service for this morning's hearing. I'll find based on the testimony of city staff and the photographs in that case file that respondents are in violation of section 105.1 and 110.3 for the demolition work done without required permits or inspections. I'll require respondents to comply within 60 days or face a fine of $50 per day for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case number 271040 Okeechobee Road, CE 23070052. Number 271040 Okeechobee Road.
Morning. Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 1040 Okeechobee was initially cited on 7/5/23. Certified mail was sent on 7/6/23. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. The property as well as City Hall was posted on 7/6/23. This property was given a comply by date of 7/18/23. Property was cited for 18106B, excessive growth of weeds, grass, hedges, and 78-1, obstruction of the right-of-way, more specific, I can't even talk this morning. More specifically, the sidewalk. There's a lot of overgrowth on the sidewalk. As of last evening, none of the violations had complied. Spoke with the respondent over the phone on last evening also, I believe, and he indicated that they were in process of curing the violations. Again, I don't know if, as of this morning, if they are complied, but as of last evening, they were not complied. So in light of that, the city is asking for a finding of fact due to the fact they did not comply by the compliance date of 7/18/23, and a one-time fine of $500 due to non-compliance, and also this being somewhat of an ongoing issue. The respondent and I have been very cordial in terms of our conversations over the phone. That said, though, this seems to be an ongoing issue. And seemingly the only time that the property gets maintained is when they are cited or when I take the opportunity to go in and speak to the manager there. This is the post office. When I take the opportunity to go in and speak to the manager and ask them to maintenance the property. And that seems to be the only time that maintenance occurs. And this has been going on for multiple years now. I have been in this particular area for multiple years, and seemingly that's the only time that the property does get maintenance. And so once again, the city's asking for a one-time fine of $500, and so that's what we have.
Thank you very much, Officer Williams. Just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, it is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
It does.
The photographs that we reviewed, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
They do.
With respect to the finding of fact, do you have a notation as to when you first observed this alleged violation?
Well, the property was initially cited on 7/5. The violations were observed prior to 7/5. But correspondence went out on 7/5.
Okay. And then, if, I think I understood you to say that as of last night, it was not in compliance,
That is correct.
but you've heard from the owner of the property that they've made progress and they believe it now to be in compliance,
Well,
and you just have to go and look at it?
He indicated that he was aware of the violations and further stated that they were in process of getting it taken care of. And so that led me to believe that perhaps they might get someone in later last evening to take care of it, but I don't know that to be true.
Okay, so I'm not sure that we can maintain a finding of fact, actually, if it's not truly in compliance at this point. Do you have a different thought on that?
Well, I'm asking for a finding of fact due to the fact that they were given a compliance date of 7/18 in order to comply, and they have not complied.
Right, which normally the finding of fact is they didn't comply by the notice of violation, comply by date, then they've complied before the date of the hearing.
As far as I know, they are not complied.
Okay, then we can't do a finding of fact. So would you ask for a certain amount of days and then a certain amount of fine?
Let's say 10 days or a fine of $100 a day.
Okay,
Okay?
and you believe 10 days is a reasonable amount of time
Oh, yes, for
within
sure.
which to
For sure.
bring these alleged violations into compliance? Fantastic.
Especially in light of the fact that they are aware that this has been going on for quite some time and it's ongoing. So,
Okay. Thank you, Special Magistrate. The city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. Your name for the record, sir?
My name is Gregory Purtle, Purtill.
And you're the owner, that's correct? You're,
Correct, yes.
okay, thank you.
We're,
Go ahead, sir.
thank you.
Special
We're in the
Special
26th
Magistrate,
year.
could we see if he has any objection?
Oh,
to
yes, I'm
the-
sorry, I forgot to ask you. Any objection to the case file that you've seen on the screen, the documents being entered into the record?
I'd just like to see who signed the registered letter.
Sure, she can pull that up. Hold on one second. Is there an actual copy of the green card, or this is just delivery confirmation? So that's a fairly cryptic signature.
This is usually all that's given at this point.
Yeah. Either way, they also posted the property, so they have good service for this morning's hearing. I'm not sure who signed. There's not actually a copy of the signed green card, but they do have good service via posting on the property as well.
I did see that on there. We're the owner of the property that the post office has leased out for the last 26 years. Mr. Williams is correct in everything that he's saying.
All right, hold on. Let me stop you there just before we get into the merits of it. Any objection to those documents being entered into the record? And then you can explain to me your side.
No, I don't. No.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
We're in the 26th year of a 30-year lease with the United States Post Office at that property. The first 20 years, everything was good. The last 7 years, they had failed to maintain the property. So at this point, my father passed away. He was the one that was in charge of everything. He passed away last month. That's part of the issue with us not being notified until last Friday after business. So I started working on it the last couple of days to get somebody out there to cut it because the post office is not holding up their end of the lease. So we're going to take over the maintenance of that.
Okay.
And I've called 2 companies yesterday. I'm supposed to meet them at the post office this afternoon, landscape companies, to get a contract with them. I was told that the United States Post Office was supposed to have entered into a contract. That's what Mr. Williams was saying, that they spoke to the manager there, and they said they were supposed to sign a contract, but I haven't seen anything about that. So when I leave here today, I'll set up a commercial landscaping contract for that property.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about the post office anymore.
Okay.
I was hoping that somebody from the post office would be here today to explain why they're not keeping up with the property, because it is an eyesore, I have to admit.
Yeah, it does look pretty overgrown. What the city's asking for compliance within 10 days. Is that, can you get that done in 10 days? Or your contractor saying
Oh,
they can
yes.
get out there that quickly?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, very good. And you think that's enough time for you?
Oh, that'll work, yes.
Okay, perfect. And the city has not, this is not a repeat violation, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so just understand that they could have, as I understand it, I think this is a repeat occurrence, so they're setting you up in a normal violation, which is more lenient than they need to be, so.
Appreciate that.
All right, anything further from you, sir?
No, ma'am.
Anything further from the city?
No.
All right, thank you. In case CE 23070052, I've entered the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I found based on the affidavit of posting and the delivery confirmation on the certified mail that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the testimony of city staff as well as the photographs in the case file that the respondent's in violation of section 18106B and 781. I'll require compliance within 10 days or a fine of $100 will be assessed for each day thereafter. So make sure as soon as you get it done, make sure you contact the city and call him so he can come out and re-inspect and let you know and give you an affidavit of compliance and totally close out your case.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
And here's a copy of your order.
Actually, Special Magistrate, could we go ahead and just amend that and offer 15 days? Just because we have, internally in the city, it would
Takes
assist
a
us in
little-
our systems.
That's fine. I don't have any objection. So I'll amend the compliance say for 15 days. And is that order signed or do you need my signature on? Did those get signed? Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, sir. So you have 15 days now, just so you understand. The city's saying that they're going to give you some additional days just to make sure that you can get it closed out.
Thank you,
Okay, thank you. Good luck, sir.
thank you.
Next case, number 38, 1950 Golden Lakes Boulevard, E CE 23060280, number 38, 1950 Golden Lakes Boulevard.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. The property at 1950 Golden Lakes Boulevard was cited for portable signs to be removed. Property was posted July 7th. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent June 23rd. Certified mail was received June 27th. The property has since come to compliance. Re-inspection was 7/3. Property complied on 7/5. City's requesting a finding of fact on this violation.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of questions, and I apologize if I missed
Fine.
what you said. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
And was the notice of violation posted at City Hall? And again, I apologize. You
Yes,
may have
ma'am.
said it. Okay. Photographs that we're reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
Just to make the record clear, the sign that you're discussing, can you?
Is the green now hiring signs? Not that, which is beautiful, by the way. They did go ahead and remove those. And, I did have a conversation with the
What,
CFO.
I'm sorry, what signs are it? Is it?
Is
Those
it
right
that?
there,
Oh, the
hiring
snipe signs?
yes.
Those, okay, thank you.
I did have a good conversation with the CFO, Jeff, here. He understands what transpired, and he worked quickly to get it done. So all I'm just requesting is a finding of fact that it doesn't occur again.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. Could I see a copy of that notice of violation again, quickly? Or so your notice required them to comply by 7/3. Your testimony is they complied on 7/5.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Your name, sir, for the record?
Jeffrey Jervis, co-founder, CEO, Mintigo Car Wash.
Thank you, sir. Any objection? What's been placed on the screen is all the documents the city would like to enter into the record. Any objection to those documents?
None whatsoever.
Thank you very much. And what the city is saying is that you complied, but you complied after the date that they had in the notice of violation. So they're asking me to issue a finding of fact, which means that you were found in violation, but you've since complied. Just so you understand what that does put you on notice of is they could cite you for repeat violation in the future. So don't let it occur again in the next 5 years. Otherwise, you could be tagged for a repeat. Any questions, sir?
No, I just am here to apologize both to Officer McFarland as well as to the special magistrate for wasting your time. This should never have happened. It's an organizational breakdown. The only thing I can say is we just went through a new manager. We replaced our manager, and our communication just broke down, but that's not your problem. That's mine.
Okay, I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Anything further from the city on this one?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you. In case CE 23060280, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the affidavit of posting, that you have good service for this morning's hearing. I'll find, based on the photographs and testimony of city staff, that the respondent was in violation of Section 94402B25-5, but complied after the date specified in the notice of violation, so I'll issue a finding of fact in this matter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That order will come in the mail. Thank you. It's case number 432223 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, CE 23060339, number 432223 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. The property at 2223 Palm Beach Lakes was cited for repeat violation and portable prohibited signs. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted July 5th. Certified mail was sent June 28th. Certified mail was received June 30th. The underlying case is CE 22120136. This is indeed the third repeat violation on this property. As of yesterday, the property is still in violation. What's going on here is that there, as you can see, a big billboard truck out in front of the business. I've been trying my best to give them opportunity to circulate that billboard truck. I've been monitoring that particular violation for 3 months. And every time I go by, that billboard truck is stationary in that spot. Further, they go on to store that same billboard truck on the property at night. In fact, they have at least 3 of those billboard trucks. They park one in front of the business that never moves. They tend to park another one at the other portion of that thoroughfare right before you enter it from 95. Now, I did suggest to them that they get something like this and circulate the city with it. But for some reason, they took it to a whole different level, and it's not being circulated like suggested. I've tried everything I could to get this in particular tenant of this building to understand that these portable signage are not allowed in the city of West Palm. Now what happens is he'll put them up, I'll cite them, you take them down. Put them up, cite them, take them down. And this has been going on for the past 3 years. So this is why city's recommending a one-time fine of $5,000.
And let me just ask you, while the photos, there were some other pink and black signs that were temporary. Is that an issue as well, or is it just these mobile signs?
That's the ones they intend to pay rope-a-dope with. They'll put them up, take them down, put them up, take them down. The ones out in front of the little small ones out in front of the business that's tied on the palm tree there. Now, they've since removed those because I posted the property. But that billboard truck was still parked in front of the business up to yesterday.
That pink and black and white sign, those signs are also in
they've
violation?
since removed those because I posted the property.
Okay.
But the billboard truck does not move. The only time it moves is at night when they park it in front of the business.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Officer McFarland. Just a couple of questions, and I do apologize I know I missed some of what you said because I was, again,
That's fine.
talking with our assistant here. You sent it, the notice of violation by certified and regular, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We saw that you posted the property. Did you post City Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there an executed affidavit posted in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
I know that you were saying that the numbers of the underlying cases, but I didn't catch, and I do apologize, I didn't catch, were those underlying cases for the exact same section 94402
Yes, ma'am.
B25, and those themselves were either findings of fact or came into compliance. Is that
Finding of
accurate?
fact, second repeat. I've tried to exhaust everything the city can to get them to understand that portable signage is a violation within the city of West Palm.
Okay, so we're seeing one right now, which is case 22-120136. The date of this order was January 4th of 2023. That's for 94402 B25, and that's for this exact address. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's,
I want to add to that order. The day this order was issued, when I left Magistrate, the tenant had sign twirlers on Okeechobee as the hearing was being conducted. So they blatantly do not care about the city of West Palm Beach's ordinances.
can we just also put into the record, since you're saying it's the third repeat, there's going to be two others?
Yes, there's a finding of fact and 2 other repeats.
Can we put
So this
those?
is actually the 4th case.
Okay. I just want to put into the record the dates of the orders, unless you had them and I missed them.
No, I didn't include it. I just included the latest one.
Yep.
But I'm sure Monique can find it for you there.
While she's looking for those, Officer McFarland, you indicated that circulation of this, the big sign.
Yeah, the
that's on
panel truck.
trailer.
the in-
So if they circulated it, it would not be a violation?
Correct.
Would that be
And
accurate?
this is correct, and this is why I suggested it at the last hearing. They have something that's mobile that can circulate the city, but it has to circulate the city. It cannot be stored on the property.
Okay.
Can it, just so I understand, can it be parked overnight if it's circulating during the day, or?
No, it
No,
cannot. It cannot
okay.
be stored.
Okay.
Now, if it was like a box truck that's conducting business for them,
Yeah.
that is allowed. But this is a panel
But it's
truck
a
that's
sign,
not
yeah.
doing any type of business, but solely advertising.
Okay, Special Magistrate, we have the next one, which is Special Magistrate, the next one is CE 20010462, finding of fact for 94402 B25. The date of that is February 19th, 2020. Okay, the next one. And CE 20110011. November 18th, 2020, came in front of the Special Magistrate for 94402 B25, and these are all the same property owner. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the current notice of violation affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, as well as the underlying repeat 3 cases referenced, those case files, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. And can I see the notice in the current case again one more time? The agenda says repeat/irreparable. Did you cite it as just a repeat or as irreparable as well?
We use both,
Okay.
but yeah, it is repeat.
Okay. Gentlemen, your names for the record?
Howard Wells, representing McCall Holdings. I'm the owner of the property. And then I've got Neil Marcelino, who's my tenant. But just with those documents, the last document you had up there said that we failed to appear. Even just this notice, I never get notices on time. This one I got no certified letter in the mail.
And before you go further, you were in the room, I think, but were you sworn in? Did you stand and raise your right hands when I swore everybody in?
Yes.
I didn't think you did. Can you both raise your right hands for me? Do you both swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, so listen, I've had issues and I've gotten liens on the property in the past because they posted on the property. I'm a commercial owner. I've got a lot of medical issues. I have tenants there. I live in Palm City. I'm not at the building on a regular basis. I've not been getting notice. This notice is dated the 26th of June. I've been out of the country since the 22nd. I came back this past Saturday. I was in the hospital yesterday. And when I got a call from my office that got a call, a voicemail or a call from Mr. McFarland, I reached out to him yesterday. He did call me back this morning. And I was asking to get an extension so I can understand what's going on. But previously, I've gotten fined in this last thing that says that I had nobody here. I was never noticed because I either am here myself, and in the past I've had attorneys. The only reason my attorney's not here today is it was after 5 p.m. yesterday to try to get an attorney here for 9 o'clock this morning. But all of this stuff, my biggest issue is I'm trying to find out what the issue is. And when I'm hearing about the signs, when I spoke with Mr. McFarland briefly this morning and even prior, I've never had any opportunity ever to have a talk with my tenant and cure it without being fined. And with this, the last time I spoke to Mr. McFarland, he recommended we do the trucks because they had people that were on the street holding up signs, which I didn't know that was not allowed because that always happens with a lot of other businesses, but we complied with that to the best of my knowledge. But I have my tenant to speak about that, and he did go and get the vehicles. So I'm trying to understand with the vehicle, with the circulation, I've got Mr. McFarland saying that they're not circulating. I got my tenant saying they are circulating. But when their business is closed, I can't imagine the trucks are going to be going around 24 hours a day.
Well, and I'll let the city respond to that, but let me just address your concern about notice. So the first thing, you've been sitting here for about a half an hour now. The first thing that myself and any other magistrate that's here, the first thing we look for is service, because we can't proceed with the case until we ensure that the city has properly notified you and given you the legal notice that they're required to give you under state law. So the first thing that I look for, and the first thing that all the magistrates look for, is how they did that. So in your case, they always send certified mailing, right, in any code enforcement case.
I've never received certified mail.
So I would recommend to you that you check the Palm Beach County Property Appraisers and Tax Collector's Office for what address that you have on file with those agencies. If you don't have the correct address that you want to be noticed at, change the address with those entities, because the city is required by law to send you the notices to those addresses.
I do receive my tax bill at the proper address.
Okay,
When I
so
got
that's where it's being sent, but the other thing that they're doing is posting. Is it this Palm City address that's on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's where the certified mailings are going. Why you're not receiving them, I don't know, but the secondary means of service that the city does is posting on the property. Again, if you have tenants there, the city is legally required to effectuate notice by posting. The city can't control whether your tenant takes the notice and doesn't tell you about it or not. The law provides that they have to post the property if they don't get a certified green card signed back, the certified mail signed back. So you might want to discuss with your tenants that they give you certified mails that come to the or that are posted on the property.
I've done that, but you have business owners, then you have employees, then you have other people.
I understand that, but that's, the city has to follow the state law, and they're following the law. Whether or not you actually get the notices, you have to work on that on your end in terms of you're not being present on the premises.
I obviously didn't receive the other notice that said that there was no appearance, because I would definitely have representation here.
And again, I just want you to understand that before any ruling would have been made, that finding would have been made by the special magistrate that the city either posted the property or that there was a signed green card. Whether it actually got to you is an entirely different story. Let me have the city respond to your question about what can and cannot happen with regard to the trucks. Can you explain to him again what not the trucks, but the mobile signs, what is
Okay.
allowed and not allowed under
They're-
the city's code?
They're required to circulate. They cannot be stored on the property when they're not working. They're supposed to be circulating. This is why I monitored it for 3 months, to give them the opportunity for me to come up on it, not there, being circulated. And as you can see, I could not find a time or instance where it was being circulated.
So when you say being circulated, what you're telling him is that the trucks have to be being driven around the city or driven around wherever they want, but they cannot come back and park at that location and be
Cannot
stored at that
come back and
location.
park at that location for long periods of time, cannot be stored there. As you can see, at night, it's being stored out front. That cannot happen. Even if they had a working box truck that's delivering vehicles, it still can't be parked in front of the business, it has to be parked in the rear. But they're parking the billboard sign in the front. I mean, it doesn't move.
And explain to him the pink and white and black signs, the more temporary signs there.
Well, the pink and black signs cannot be tied to anything on the property like it is on the palm trees there. So those need to be removed, which they since have been removed. But they're gonna mosey themselves back up there again, because that's the reoccurring theme with this property.
So is that clear to you, sir? Do you understand what you
I understand
can
what
and
he's
can't
saying
do?
now, but this entire time, and Mr. McFarland can advise you, we've only had a couple conversations, and he's talking about the last 3 months. I've had no notice of any of this, no time to cure any of these violations ever, which it really is not fair to not have an
Well, but his
opportunity to cure a
testimony is this is the third repeat, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So
violation with me.
with the
not with
documents were
McCall
just
Holdings.
put on the screen.
That, I explained to you the service, the last thing said that I had no representation. That's because I was unaware of it. We can't tell you we're unaware of it if we're not aware of it. No one shows up because we're not aware of it.
Magistrate,
Go ahead,
he's
sir.
well aware. We've had
That's not
a
true.
number of conversations. The last hearing we had, the tenant was here. So you're well aware of what's going on at the property. Because here's what he wanted from me. He wanted me to monitor the property, call him when something goes wrong. City's not a property management company, all right? This is what you pay your property manager to do for you, to monitor your property and make sure it's not in any type of city code violations at any time. And that's what needs to be done.
And the first case was going all the way back to 2020, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am?
Okay, so we're 3 years in. So, I mean, I understand your point about whether or not you actually receive service, but you're on your fourth repeat violation. So that you're a frequent violator in the city. That's a lot of repeat violations for the same issue going over a span of 3 years. So I know you can say that you were not aware, but not only were you getting notices of the hearing, but then you're also getting the orders from those hearings sent to you after the fact. So, and your tenants are appearing on your behalf at hearings. So for you to say that you're not aware is a little problematic.
No, if my tenants are appearing and I'm not here, it's because I'm not aware of it. And my tenant can tell you he's been here that where I'm not aware of, he's trying to take care of the issue himself. But other cities, as far as property management, we go by, we check properties, but when a sign goes up, it doesn't stay there for a long period of time. There's a business that's open, they're gonna take the sign down. We go by and we check on the properties, but we're not aware of violations. I do business in about a half a dozen other cities in South Florida, and with my code enforcement, whenever there's an issue, they give me a call. Hey, Mr. Wells, there's an issue over here. Can you get it taken care of so I have to cite you? Not a problem, and I get it taken care of, and I never even have to go through getting a letter to comply, much less getting a letter to appear at the special magistrate for noncompliance when I never got an opportunity to comply. The last time I spoke with Mr. McFarland, what we agreed on is that there'd be no signs. So the purple and black signs, those signs should not be there. And I'll
Right,
discuss that
but
with my
just
tenant,
so-
but the billboard is, that was the idea of Mr. McFarland. The billboard truck that drives around the city, which a lot of businesses have.
Right, but I don't have pictures of it driving around the city. I have several pictures of it sitting on your property
That's
at
not my
night.
property, ma'am. That picture of the truck, that's on a city street, in a parking
I
place.
just looked at one where it's sitting in the parking lot at night, in your parking lot.
They said at night they have to put it on the property. They can't leave it on the city street overnight. During the day, it's on the
What
city
he's telling
street.
you is it cannot be there anytime, correct? It cannot be stored on the property.
Magistrate, I've explained this to Mr. Allen over and over.
This morning.
And over. He doesn't want to take the issue or responsibility for anything.
So, and as it relates to your comments about not having an opportunity to cure the violation, on a repeat violation, there's no requirement for the city to provide you with additional time to comply, because you've already been found in violation. In this case, you've already been found in violation several times on repeat violation. So only the first violation is when you're given a reasonable time to comply with the city's code. Once you're found in violation, that initial time, anytime they find you on repeat violation or cite you on repeat violation going forward, they don't have to give you time to cure the violation. You're automatically in violation. A fine starts running immediately as soon as they see the repeat violation. That's what the subsequent violations or repeat violation orders have done, is find you for the repeat violations. But that's your property, correct? Those are not photographs of the truck on the property?
Those are at nighttime.
Okay, so
What I was saying, as far as the sign, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. McFarland, the first time you told me about the signs not being in circulation was this morning today. First time and only time. Because we haven't spoken since before the last
Like
week.
I iterated before, he wants the city to manage his property. That's
understood.
not what the city is here for.
Understood.
But this is the new violation with the truck.
This is not new.
It's a repeat
truck is
violation.
new.
It's a repeat violation of the
Not on the
same
truck.
code that you've been
Not on the
cited
truck,
for.
on the signs on the building, yes, not on the truck.
It's the same code section.
It's a vehicle, ma'am, it's not a sign that's stuck on the property.
It's the same code section, correct? Whether it's the
Yes,
vehicle or
ma'am.
the black and white and red.
Even if it's a vehicle or someone holding a sign, it's the same instance.
Same code section. So
Yes, ma'am.
let me, do you have your tenant, does he want to say anything?
I would like to.
Go ahead, sir.
Today. So I have much more experience than
Put that back toward your mouth. The recording needs,
I have a loud voice. Everyone
Okay.
can hear me. I have much more experience with this than Mr. Wells does. I've dealt with Mr. Mark McFarland over the years. I don't think it's fair when he says that I don't want to comply, because all the actions I've shown through all the years is attempting to comply, and here's how. When we just had the issue recently with the signs where we came in here and we were found guilty and we had to pay $1,000 fine for it, that situation was that I had people holding the sign on the street corners in a couple of locations, and that's what I was violated for. So as soon as that happened and I understood that I wasn't able to do that, because I really believed I was allowed to do that everywhere but on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard. That's what I was told in the past. I immediately stopped it. When I immediately stopped it, he recommended to me to do something like with the mobile sign, which I took his advice and I did it. And there's not 3 trucks, Mr. McFarland, there's 2, so there's not 3. And I have one sign that rides, one truck. I actually contracted a company, that's what I did, to drive the one truck around. And then I take the other truck and I put it there on the service road in front of my business, complying between the hours that it says you can park there, between like 6 in the morning and 8 p.m. Then at that time, before we close, before 8 p.m., I take that vehicle and I park it in my parking lot. Now, if you ever let me know that I wasn't allowed to park in the front, which is a shock to me, because for 25 years, I've had probably 20 different businesses in the city of West Palm. And if you go immediately on my street on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, City Furniture, City Mattress, the generator shop, audio advisors, everybody's work trucks are parked in front of their building. So I don't think that's fair that he says I should be parked in the back, because all my neighbors are parked in the front. If he does tell me that, I want to comply. This is what I think is the most important thing today. I don't want to make this man's job a nightmare. I don't want to make the man behind him who keeps nodding his head the whole time he talks, his job a nightmare. I want to comply. I've been here for 25 years and have everything from car washes, body shops, car dealerships, furniture stores, laundromats. I've been in the city a long time, spent a lot of money in this city. We should be trying to help each other. I am not here ignorantly saying, oh, sneak it in there. Mr. McFarland, those 2 signs that are by my palm trees, they really have been there for about 2 years. So if there's a problem with them now, I'll take them down. He's correct. I took them down because I was notified. I'm not trying to piss this man off. I'm not trying to do that. All I'm really trying to do is survive. I have a building that's in the cut that you pretty much can't see, And I'm trying to let everybody know, hey, here we are, the furniture store, so I don't go out of business and I can pay this man his rent, which is a lot of money. So we should try to work together. I do not want to be disrespectful. And I understand he's not a property manager, but the problem is there's often communication with the people who work for me that are like a salesman on a showroom floor. And if the contact was made with my brother or myself, we could accomplish things way faster and we wouldn't have to be here. But I just want to make clear, I will never put up a pink and black sign again anywhere, Mr. McFarland. I don't want to do that to you because I don't want to make you stressed out.
I've
over
heard this
anything.
before, Magistrate. I've heard this before.
Well, when I said it to you, it was a guy on the street, and there's never
City
been one on the
rest.
street since.
City rest.
But I'm not. So, and the last thing is with the billboard trucks, what I did with them is exactly what he told me to do, which was get something that was mobile. The one truck moves all day. It's never in front of my store. The other one, I'm doing it. If there's now a problem with that, someone should bring it to my attention. You cannot help a business owner if you keep bringing me in here, whacking me with 1,000. Now you're trying to get $5 grand out of me.
Well, but what I'm seeing from my chair, what I'm seeing is a pattern of behavior, and it appears to be a disregard for what the city is telling you.
It's understanding, ma'am. It's not a disregard. I'm not a
How
disregard
you
person.
got here is that's between you and the city. But being on your fourth repeat violation, that means that there's clearly a disconnect. The photographs are very clear. I just want you to understand that the difference between your truck and your city mattress, the other examples you gave, those are actually trucks that are being used for the business. This is just a sign.
I just didn't know that, but if I make a mistake, $5,000 mistakes in 2023, you put a family business out of business. You have to learn how to talk. There's no one over there that wants to pay $5 grand. And it's bad that we're making it like it's an ugly relationship. He is the only individual in this whole city that I've ever dealt with that I feel like doesn't get along with me. I've got along with everyone to the ridiculous level. And I don't know what it is, but we should try to work it out. Hitting me with 5,000 is not the way to get it worked out.
But again, from my chair, what I'm hearing is I didn't know about the hearings. I didn't know about the violations. He comes to your store. He talks to someone that's other than you because you're not there. That's not the city's issue. If he goes inside your store and talks to your
He did it
employees,
yesterday for the first time, he was on my sidewalk.
right? But you're saying that's not good enough. He doesn't even have to do that.
Understand that?
Right, but so you're saying that there's an adversarial relationship, but that's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that he's
Try
attempting to
is
communicate.
what we should attempt to do.
Well, he is, but if you're not at the store, he
Mr.
can't communicate with
McFarland, I did
you.
what you asked me to do with the rolling truck signs. We've never talked about the rolling trucks again. Why would you bring me here in a hearing and tell me about where the trucks park rather than just tell me, hey, Mr. Marcelino, park it in the back, don't park it in the front. I'd do it in an instant. I do not want to be a person who's creating havoc. I helped build and produce in this city. I'm the guy who taught the free karate programs at the inner city youth program. I'm the guy who did all of that.
I appreciate that, but
I don't need appreciation. I did it for the kids, nobody else. There's no reason to sit here and act like I'm some derelict who doesn't want to listen to authority. That's not me as a person. I've never been in trouble in my life. We should try to mend the relationship. I don't want him pissed off at me. He's acting like I'm purposely trying to piss him off, and even the gentleman in the back, and that's not me. I want to be super compliant, super appreciative of everybody. That's my style as a man. So if you give me one chance, because it's ridiculous. I just paid $1,000 to him from the last time, and I had to pay his lawyer to come here. Cost me $2,500 for the last court hearing. If he gets me today, it costs me $5. I'm really doing that sign because I'm trying to survive. I'm not doing that sign because I'm sitting on a beach. So it's help me. That's all that I'm asking for. Don't keep everything that I'm trying to do. To say I don't comply is ridiculous because he told me what to do and I exactly did what he told me to do. If I made a mistake, because he never said where to park the truck, so if I can't park the truck in the front, I'll immediately put it in the back. If he tells me, Neil, that doesn't work, get a box truck, put it on a box truck, I'll do that. Just work with me and advise me. I need some tutelage to tell me what to do so I can be right. I don't want to give anybody a problem.
all right, I hear you.
I promise.
Let me ask Mr. Wells, the documents that were placed up on the screen, do you have any objection to the notice documents for today's hearing, the photographs that the city's trying to enter into the record?
I've never seen any of those things
I know
with
that-
my own eyes.
Right, you've seen them here today on the screen. They weren't not sent to you prior to the hearing. Any objection to that case file being entered into the record?
Other than the fact that I didn't have notice in this until yesterday about 5 p.m., that's my only objection.
Okay, can you please put the affidavit of posting back on the screen?
Okay, is there a way, like the certified mail, because again, I'm not getting that for some reason. Is that being sent certified? Because I did get the other letter that I showed you. But again,
Yep, so
being that I
here's
was
the
out of
affidavit,
country,
here's the affidavit of posting on
I
the
opened
screen,
that.
which shows that the notice was posted to the property on July 5th. And then she can pull up the certified mail as well.
July 5th. I've been out of the country. I brought my passport if you would like to
So
look
again,
at
but
it.
what you're saying is that the city, you didn't know because you were out of the country. The city did what was required by law to do, which is
I'm
send
just
you
saying-
certified mail and post your property. So I'm finding that there's plenty of service for today's hearing. The delivery confirmation says that there was a notice left. So the city did its secondary means of service under Chapter 162, which is to post your property. So there's good service. Whether you ultimately find out about it, that's beyond my control, but I can say that they've met their statutory burden by posting the property timely.
Just to make the record clear, Special Magistrate, 2 certifieds went out, one for the actual property address and one for Mr. Wells' address in Palm City.
Okay,
But the date of that, I was not here. I'm saying I didn't receive it, that's all. It's-
okay.
they can move-
Also,
they can-
also,
they can
Magistrate,
apply. At the end of the day.
when I send out notice,
apply.
Okay, wait a minute.
I've
one at a
heard
time,
all
one at
sides.
a
Go ahead,
time.
Mr. McFarland.
when notice is sent out, if they have a LLC and there's a secondary address on that LLC, it gets sent there too. That's why you're seeing 2 certified
2 green cards,
mails being sent out.
yeah. Okay.
If nobody's home, no one can sign for certified. And then the letter, when I got back in the country, I got the message from him. I opened up my mail last night. I got the letter.
Right, and that's why the law requires them to post, because they can't control whether you sign for something or whether you tell the mailman to go away, you're not gonna sign, right?
I
So
can show proof I was out of the country. and at
that's
the
fine,
hospital.
but I don't need to see that. They posted, so they've met their statutory burden and they have good service for today's hearing.
How do we comply and move forward?
What you need to start doing is complying with the city's code. The record before me this morning is quite clear that there's a pattern of behavior with regard to signage on your property, and there's a pattern of repeat violations. This is the 4th repeat violation. So I've heard plenty of testimony from both of you about you didn't know, you don't understand. I'm hearing Mr. McFarland tell me that he's talked to you all multiple times. You've gotten all of these notices, you've gotten all of these orders. And yet the behavior continues to occur. So as of this moment, the fines that you've been assessed previously do not seeming to be sending the signal that they need to send, right? So by law, they're authorized to fine you up to $15,000. They're not fining you that amount today. They're asking me to fine you a $5,000 fine.
That's kind of ridiculous, sir, when you think about it.
It's equally ridiculous that you're on a 4th repeat violation.
Businesses are going out of business left and right, and you're gonna hit
Sir,
someone with
I
$5,000
hear
fine.
you. I hear you, but what I also see from your behavior is that you're not abiding by the city's code.
Ma'am, it's
My
not
job
true.
here is to uphold the city's code. That's
It's
my
not
job.
true, because if I was a repeat violator, that would mean I'd have guys back on the corner holding the signs what I got violated for, and I didn't do
It's
that.
the same code sections. The state law is set up that if you violate the same section of the code, again, within a
Can't you
5-year
be
period.
reasonable to see this point? He recommended that I get rolling signs. I put rolling signs out.
But then he's
That's not lack
communicated
of
to you,
compliance.
but sir, you're not listening. What he communicated to you is that he's explained to you and to your staff that they cannot be stored on the property, yet they
Never.
continue to be.
I've never heard that till today, that it can't be parked somewhere.
His
That-
testimony was exactly the opposite. But
No, please tell me that, Mr. McFarland, because that's not
Magistrate,
true.
may I speak?
Sir, hold on, please. Go ahead, sir. Name for the
Officer
record.
Frosco, West Palm Beach
Thank you.
Code.
Were you sworn in, sir?
Yes,
you.
yes, thank you. When it comes to signage, most signage is regulated by planning and zoning. So anything that changes from the site, they would have to make an application with the city for any changes with signage. So be that it's that said, that we have people in planning and zoning that would advise them if it's okay to have it or not okay to have it. The second issue would be that for us as code officers, and I've had that zone before, and it's a very highly traveled zone. When you have violations like this, it perpetuates the violations for the other businesses, which make it difficult for us to act, compounding the job that we have to do. So when we go, they always point the finger at somebody else. So when you have these violations, it makes our job much more difficult when we don't get that cooperation, which adds to our burden. So at any point in time, they can always contact planning and zoning and say, is this sign appropriate and what do I need to do to have that that's not approved? And we are here to answer those questions, To do it after the fact is like saying, well, I can always ask for forgiveness, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, I think that might have been a misunderstanding, because we've never spoke about where the vehicle was parked until today. So I think that's clear that we all understand that. Because if he told me don't put it in the front, I immediately would have put it in the back. I will start doing that today. But it's never been before where we've discussed that the truck cannot be parked in the front. Because I have a very big parking lot, I'd be happy to put it in the back.
Can you scroll up on that document? That's the current notice. Scroll down a little bit.
Come on, man, work with me. You know I'll work with you back. It's like, I'm not like that. I'm totally not like that.
Yeah, see, what's on the screen now is a notice that tells you exactly what the violation was. So,
That's a portable sign in the back of the property for the third time, back out at the property. He's talking about the black and the pink signs. He's not talking about anything to do with the trucks.
no, he's talking about both. This
No,
is
that's
this,
not where?
it's the same,
Magistrate, I'm clearly talking about both. He knows it.
right, it's the same code section. It prohibits,
Right, I'm
The
saying,
same
but that's the
conduct.
first time that this has ever been brought up. We've never talked about the trucks before, ever. So I don't know anything about the trucks. It's not fair what you're doing. If anyone disagrees with this, it's really ridiculous. He told me to get rolling trucks, I got them. Now there's an issue where the truck is parked. Don't try to whack me with $5,000. Come tell me, hey, Mr. Marcelino, don't park in the front no more. That's all that it is. It's not $5,000 'cause I didn't know. It's unbelievable. I'm not financing the city's budget.
anything further, sir? Anything further, Mr. Wells?
I'm the landlord. I'm trying to have a business that's there helping the community and paying my bills and my mortgage.
Okay, thank you. Anything further, Mr. McFarland?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. In case CE 23060339, I'm entering the city's evidentiary case file over objection of respondent, given his alleged lack of notice. I'm finding that the city has good notice for today's hearing via the affidavit of posting, indicating that the property was posted and City Hall was posted on July 5th. Based on the testimony of city staff and the evidentiary case file that's been entered into the record, I'm going to find that respondent's in violation, repeat violation of section 2635B, and fourth repeat violation of section 94402B25, and I'm going to award the city its one-time fine for that repeat violation in the amount of $5,000. You've heard the code explained to you today. I would recommend that you listen to what you heard today, and in order to avoid being back here before me in the future. Thank you both.
That's all we have for contested matters at this time. Number 2, 1031 Bradley Court, CE 23030485.
Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited on June 6, 2023. Certified mail was sent out June 7th. It was returned on June 29th. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on June 8th. In addition, the notice of violation and notice of hearing was sent out via first-class mail. Affidavit of posting was turned in and attached to the case file. This property was cited for Florida Building Code 105.1, failure to secure building permit for a metal fence and gate and for a roof repair. 18103B for repair roof, walls, and foundation. 7434A1H for trash cans in public view. 944462 for landscape maintenance, in particular bare dirt areas in the yard. And for 94487B3B, restrictions for stored restricted vehicles. I have spoke to the owner of the property about the issues at the property, and as of yesterday, code section 7434A1H, 94446.2, and 94487B-3-B have been brought into compliance. For the remaining code violations, the city's recommending 60 additional days or we're asking for a fine of $100 a day until compliance is achieved. So that's for the roof repair and to obtain the permits. A permit was applied for the fence and gate. It just requires inspection to be closed out. And the roof, the owner understands she needs the permit and to get the repair done. And she understands that she, needs the additional time, and 60 days should be enough, according to her.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Officer Pasmino, the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
They do.
Can you just please tell us for the record, you talked about a metal fence and a gate. Are you seeing this where on the property? Is it,
Yes, behind the front building line, there's a white metal fence.
okay. And then, can you tell us just a little bit more about the roof repair, just for the record?
Yes, there's a blue tarp that was on a section of the roof.
Okay, so we're seeing also underneath, at that point, there was shingles, and then I think you said after they removed the tarp, what happened?
Yeah, they removed the blue tarp, and then it looked like shrink wrap was applied over the whole roof. When I spoke to the owner over the phone, after she finally reached out, she said there was some roof damage. She has finally secured a contractor, and she's going to get the work done properly with a permit.
Okay, and you said that she agrees to the 60 days. Do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to get the inspection for the fence gate and get the, get a roof permit as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and any and all other documents relied upon, including the fence gate application.
Thank you. For the record, a respondent is not present. In case CE 2303-0485, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. And I'll find based on the testimony of city staff as well as the photographs in the case file that the respondent's in violation of section 105.1 and 18103B. And you're not looking for a finding of fact on the complied sections, right?
No.
Okay. And I'll require respondents to comply with those code sections within 60 days, or I'll assess a fine of $100 per day for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Next case, number 34309 Parker Avenue, CE 23060062.
Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited on June 7th. Certified mail was sent out June 8th. It was signed and received on June 12th. In addition, the property and City Hall were both posted on June 8th. In addition to this, the notice of violation and notice of hearing was sent out via first-class mail. My affidavit of posting was completed and turned in. Should be in the attachments to the case file. This property is a mobile home community that was cited for 18106A, clean and sanitary condition, trash and debris on the property. The common areas, road, sidewalks need to be kept in clean sanitary conditions. Certificate of use required. Business tax receipt required. Fence maintenance required. The fence at the front of the property is damaged and in disrepair. Landscape maintenance required. The landscaping at the property is not being maintained at all. Outdoor storage. There's a large amount of outdoor storage just all over the property. And expired permits. In specific, there are 2 expired permits, one for a AC changeout and one for a porch on a mobile home. As of this morning, I've had no contact and there have been no changes at the property. There is a fence permit in our system that has been applied for, and the date that it was applied for was July 12th. It has not been approved. It looks like it was missing a signature for the contractor. And there's been no business tax receipt applied for, and there's been no changes in appearances at the property. With that being said, the city's recommending 30 additional days to comply all the violations at the property, or we are asking for a fine of $200 a day. I'm still constantly receiving complaints about this specific property. It's a pretty bad eyesore, the fence. It's a pretty big blight on the community.
Thank you, Officer
you.
Pasmino. Just a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, they do.
Okay. With respect to the fence, we see this white picket fence, or is it a different fence? It's the
No, it
white
is-
picket fence?
It is the white picket fence at the front of the property on Parker.
And technically, could they repair it without a permit, or, and I know they've submitted a permit, but could they repair it without a permit if they chose to, or no?
Yes, they could repair it with like material.
Okay. But from what we're seeing missing panels, missing specific boards. Is anything in danger of falling over, or we're just seeing missing stuff?
Yeah, it looks like it's just missing stuff from
Okay.
from what
very
I can tell.
And just for the record, let's go through the BTR. It's for specifically
It's what they-
Bluegrass Mobile
yeah.
Home Community?
Yes, so they're like the maintenance company, and they also do like the real estate there.
Okay. And so once they get that BTR, they're also going to need the COU for that, right?
Yes.
Okay. When was your last inspection of this property, approximately?
I was there yesterday.
Okay.
I drove through the community.
Just for the record, can you describe a little bit more about the trash and debris that you're seeing?
It looked like they just did, general maintenance, like a general sweep, but you could tell they didn't pressure wash where I asked them to. In the notice, they didn't really do the specific landscape maintenance
Okay,
where
where
specified.
the pressure washing, I'm sorry to interrupt you, the pressure washing, would that have been the sidewalk, the fence, something else?
Like kind of like the oil stains, the common areas, the sidewalks, the like pathways, walkways,
Okay.
sidewalks. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying the landscaping as well.
Oh, okay. And so the landscaping, you're seeing,
Yeah, it wasn't done very well.
okay, and what are you seeing for the landscaping? What do you mean?
Like not done well. It looked like it was just cut, like a basic cut.
Okay,
like
so
mowing.
is it still overgrown? Is it still what? I'm a little confused as to what it is you
Sorry.
think is
Sorry.
wrong with the landscaping.
Let me see. Gotta look at the photos.
So we've got some bare areas there.
No, I know there's a dead tree behind one of the motor homes. I think it's coming up. No. It's like right when you come in on the left. So there's some dead trees. There are some trees that need trimming, like towards the dumpster.
Okay.
Like, I put them
Okay.
in different folders, so I don't think you can really see the comparison. If you go to the initial inspection, yeah. So like if you go back, that's kind of like where their office is. So like that's kind of like a common area. So those hedges, that sidewalk.
So the hedges are a
mulched
little
area.
overgrown. The
Yeah.
sidewalk is not maintained. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
like-
saying?
Yeah, like the mulched area, the landscaped area, like that.
There's weeds in the mulching there.
Yeah,
Okay. And
would keep going. Yeah.
so is it an area like that where the stones are? Is that supposed to be grass necessarily, or
Mm,
or approved ground cover?
Yes, it should be. Yes, right there.
Okay. And you talked about, or you listed outdoor storage. Could you just tell us for the record what you're seeing?
Yeah, so around like the motor homes, some are mobile homes, there's like just excess outdoor storage, material that shouldn't be kept outdoors, material that's, getting damaged by the weather,
Okay.
inside furniture that's being damaged by the weather,
Okay.
couches, chairs.
So chairs that are other than regular patio or
Yeah, not
outdoor
patio
chairs?
yeah, correct.
Okay. And then you talked about, I believe there was 2 permits, 0309-2062, which is an expired for an air conditioning changeout.
Yeah, there's no change in that.
And was that on the leasing office trailer or something else?
It didn't specify.
Okay.
They're from 2003 and 2008,
Okay, and then
but
the
they're
08.
associated with the main
Yeah.
address.
All right, 08010333. Okay, very good, thank you.
Yes.
And do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, the 2 expired permits, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. And Mr. Pasmino, did you say that you'd had contact with the?
I've had no contact.
No contact,
Yes.
okay. All right, for the record, respondent's not present. In case CE 2306-0062, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the signed certified mailing as well as the affidavit of posting that you have good service for this morning's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs in the case file as well as the testimony of city staff that the respondent's in violation of section 18106A, 2232A, 82144, 94302A4, 94446-2, 9471C, and Florida Building Code section 105.4.1.3. And I'll require respondents to comply within 30 days, or a fine of $200 per day will be assessed for each day thereafter that the violation continues.
Thank you.
Number 4295 Granada Road, CE 23050376.
Number 4 and number 5 is rescheduled.
Number 6, 515 North Flagler Drive, Penthouse 300, Patrick R. McCamey, PA, CE 23050129.
Good morning, Don Williams, Code Enforcement. This business, Patrick R. McCamey, PA, was cited on May 12th, 2023. Certified mail was signed for and received May 17th of 23. I hand-delivered a copy of the violation at the business on June 23 of 23. He was cited for 82-144, which is the business tax receipt. His previous business tax expired September 30th of last year. So now I'm recommending 10 days to renew or a one-time fine of $250.
Thank you, Officer Williams. Just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes,
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
yes,
And you hand-delivered the notice of violation to, did you hand-deliver that to the business Patrick McCamey, PA?
that's correct.
And that was at 515 North Flagler Drive, number P300.
Yes,
And did you post the notice of violation at City Hall?
I did City Hall same day, yes.
Thank you. And can you provide testimony that confirms that this is still an ongoing open business?
Yes, when I posted it, actually I hand-delivered, the receptionist accepted the notice of violation, and she indicated that he was just out of the office at the moment.
I'm sorry, she indicated, I'm sorry.
That the attorney was out of the office at the moment, but he definitely still open and operating at that location.
Okay. Thank you very much. And have you had any contact from the attorney's office itself?
No,
Okay. And have you seen any application or movement on the BTR?
nope,
Okay. And you would normally believe that 10 days is reasonable, correct? But we are asking today for 15.
yes.
Is that okay
Yeah.
with you?
Yes,
All right.
I'm sorry, that was 15, is what you're
Yeah,
asking?
we're gonna ask for 15, please.
Thank you.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. For the record, the respondent is not present. In case CE 23050129, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the hand delivery and also the signed certified mailing that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on testimony of city staff and the evidentiary case file that respondents in violation of section 82144 for failure to have the required business tax receipt. I'll require respondent to comply within 15 days or an assessment of a one-time fine in the amount of $250.
Number 7, 4800 Broadway, Talk More Wireless, CE 230500165.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement. This business was cited on May 16th of 23. Certified mail was signed for and received May 18th of 23. A copy of the violation hand delivered to the business June 23rd of 23. I cited this business for 82-144, business tax receipt, and 2232A, a certificate of use. As of yesterday, neither has been actually obtained by the business. My recommendation is 15 days for the business tax for a one-time fine of $250, and for the certificate of use, I'm requesting 30 days or a $200 a day fine after that.
Thank you very much. Officer Williams, is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes.
Just for the record, we're talking about the business called Talk More Wireless. Is that
Right.
accurate? Okay. And the photograph that we review, well, actually, was there a photograph? And the affidavit of posting, does it reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes.
And was City Hall posted with the notice of violation?
Yes.
And have you had any communication from anybody at Talk More Wireless?
Yes.
And did they confirm that they were an open, ongoing business?
It was open when I actually hand delivered the notice. Yes.
Okay. And 15 days is a reasonable amount of time in your estimation?
Yes.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. For the record, respondent is not present. In case CE 23050165, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the hand delivery as well as the signed certified mailing that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on testimony of city staff and the evidentiary case file that respondents in violation of section 82144 and 2232A. For section 82144, I'll require respondents to comply within 15 days or be assessed a one-time fine in the amount of $250. And for section 2232A, I'll require respondents to comply within 30 days or a fine of $200 per day will be assessed for each day thereafter that the violation continues.
Thank you.
Number 8 is a duplicate of number 7. Number 9, 309 Grayman Drive, CE 230600086.
Good morning. John Frosco, West Palm Beach Code. Property was cited for prohibited trees, landscape maintenance, and debris. Property was posted on June 9th of 2023, and certified mail was sent on June 12th of 2023. It was also sent to the registered agent via certified mail and regular mail. In the interim of citing the case, the owner did get in touch with me, Mr. Gree, and I've been working with him to try to reach compliance on this property. And as of this morning, I inspected the property this morning, and all is complied except for the landscape maintenance where he needs to sod the lot where there's dirt and bare areas. So you can see in the final picture in the back where he removed all the prohibited trees. And then there's a portion in the lot where it's just bare dirt and sand. And it was my advice that he either sods it or hydroseed it to bring it back. There was a communication via email this morning what I suggested that I was gonna ask for this. So we could say that the property is complied except for the landscape maintenance, and that we'll give him 60 days to comply with that, or $100 a day.
Thank you,
So
Officer.
you can see my last email that's in the case. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Officer Frosca. A couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, ma'am.
Was City Hall posted with the notice of violation?
Yes, I did that.
Photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, they are.
You indicated that everything is in compliance except for 94-446-2 landscape maintenance. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Are you seeking a finding of fact on any of the complied alleged violations?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
No,
You-
ma'am, because, since you asked the question, is because he did cooperate. The volume of what had to be done on the second notice when I sent to him and sent the pictures, he obviously did it, so he's cooperating.
Okay, thank you. The 94-446-2 landscape maintenance, you indicated that the dirt or sand areas needed sod. That could also be approved ground cover. Would that be accurate?
Right. In this case, because it's a vacant lot, unless he wants to artistically landscape it, sod is the best way for him to go. If either comes up where he, wants to do that, I'll still work with him for that compliance. But this strongly suggests that he either sodded or hydroseeded to hold all of that dirt, sand, and filth that, causes detriment to the community.
Thank you. You've asked for 60 days. Do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time within which to bring this alleged remaining violation into compliance?
Yes, I do, because if he hydroseeds it, then it might take a while before it takes hold. We're in the rainy season, so I want to see how it goes.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and any and all other documents relied upon, including the email. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Frosca, was the respondent in agreement with the 60 days when you communicated that?
I didn't get a response because I just emailed
You
him with
emailed
that
this
this morning to see
morning.
what the finding is with that. But I think with my experience, it's more than reasonable.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. In case CE 23060086, so that the record reflect the respondent's not present, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting, that the city has good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs and testimony of city staff that the respondent's in violation of section 94-446-2, and I'll require compliance within 60 days or assess a fine of $100 per day for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Number 10, 317 Grayman Drive, CE 23060094.
Officer Frosca, West Palm Beach Code. This property is also owned by the Gree family. This one is not in an LLC. And Mr. Gree informed me, the son, that his mother had passed away. So to begin with, in the list of violations, I'll say that I posted the property on June 8th June 9th, and certified mail was sent on June 12th. And I have, just like the former case, had conversation with the owner of this property. There's two separate code violations. We'll get to the next one, but this one was to address the actual condition of the grounds. Okay, so for the unsanitary conditions, that's incomplete. The hurricane hazards, they passed. He cleaned all the trees up, beautiful around the property, and the bushes, that's complied.
That's the trees and hedges obstructing the right-of-way?
That is not complied.
That's not complied, okay.
Right. That was mentioned in the email this morning. I did a sort of a list of what was left to do.
Okay.
So cleaning up of the property and the bushes obstructing the sidewalk. They're still protruding into the sidewalk that needs to be cleaned. Now, Monique, could you see that back up?
Okay.
That right there, that's in the front of the property. He cleaned up that this morning. I saw it was a magnificent job he did all of that, those hurricane hazards that are next to the tree, actually right next to the house. He cleaned them up beautifully, so he did a good job on that. So the landscape maintenance on this case, we won't make an issue because it is mentioned in the second case. So we're just looking at the follow-up is the cleanup of the rest of the debris on the property and the obstruction of the right-of-way.
Okay, a couple of questions, Officer Frosca. Is there an executed affidavit of posting on your file?
Yes,
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
it does.
And was the notice of violation posted at City Hall?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
They are.
Just so the record is clear, it was a little hard to follow you. Can we go down the list and you can tell me which ones are, just bear with me, which ones are complied, which ones are still outstanding? 18106A, clean and sanitary.
Is incomplete.
Incomplete.
Means it's not totally complied.
Thank you. 18215B, failure to comply.
The failure to comply is a given. It's incomplete.
Okay, very good. Hurricane hazard 744C1.
Pass.
Okay.
Complied.
Trees, hedges obstructing right of way 744C4.
Right. It failed.
Okay, so it's still outstanding. Clean up to the center of the right of way 744C5.
Right. That's passed.
So that's completed.
Right. But yes, it's passed.
Okay. Prohibited trees 94445-4I.
Complied.
Okay. Landscape maintenance 94446-2.
Will be a non-issue. We'll address that in the next case.
So it's withdrawn from this case?
Yes, we can do that.
Very good, thank you. And, okay, so with respect to the clean and sanitary, what did you see around the property that you believe is a violation?
There. Are we on the last where I took them
We
this
were.
morning?
We were.
Because I can't see the date.
But you want to do, I was doing all of them.
Pre-hearing photos.
Yes.
It says it in there, pre-hearing photos, 7/19. Okay.
It's on
And go
there,
in and
yes,
there's
sir.
the pictures.
This is it, Johnny.
Gotta click on it.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Can you
I'm trying to get down. Give me a minute. This is it,
keep going? Yep, see where there's, right. And there should be a picture. Yep.
that one.
That is in the carport in the back. You can see all that debris and stuff that's still left there.
Okay, so there's some vegetation in there, and there's also some
Debris,
trash itself in the
I
form
don't know,
of,
rotted plywood,
Yeah.
2x4s, I don't know,
okay,
bucket, junk.
all right. And with the trees and hedges, you had indicated before for the record that there's still some vegetation that is hanging into the public right-of-way
Correct.
over the sidewalk, correct?
Right.
All right, very good, thank you. And what are you asking for in terms of days and a daily fine?
For this, and I had mentioned in the email that I would ask for 15 days for him to clean up the rest of it, remove the hedges off of the sidewalk, or I would abate that. I would have the contractor to do it. So 15 days for those two issues left, or an abatement.
Okay,
And then all costs billed back to the owner of the property.
all right, with respect to an abatement, do you believe that the status of the trees and hedges and vegetation is such that it is an attractive nuisance, or otherwise is
Be more of
attracting
a-
pests and a problem that rises to the level of a health, safety, and welfare violation?
Yes, I believe it's more of an issue where when you obstruct the right-of-way, the sidewalk, people have a right to walk down the sidewalk free from out any obstruction. And if it's the width that allows for two people to walk down the sidewalk free, they should be able to do that without obstructions or endangering themselves because they move out of the way to avoid it for whatever reason. And then the debris, especially now in hurricane season, that could end up anywhere, in anybody's yard, in the street. We want the property cleaned up in its entirety. So yes, it does.
Is this a vacant property?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Do you believe that 15 days is a reasonable amount of time to give this property owner a time to clean it up before potential abatement?
Yes, and I believe you'll do it. So far, I'll send him an email too after the hearing is done, so.
Very good, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon, including any emails.
Thank you. In case CE 23060094, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the affidavit of posting, that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find, based on the photographs and testimony of city staff, as well as the other documents in the case file, that the respondent's in violation of section 18106A, 18215B, and 744C4, and that those violations amount to health, safety, welfare violations. I'll require respondents to comply within 15 days or authorize the city to abate to eliminate the health, safety, welfare risks of those violations.
Okay, number 11, also for 317 Grayman Drive, CE 23060099.
Are we finishing up the same address, or are we moving on?
It's the
or-
same address.
Or are we moving on to the 1030 under 21 alcohol cases?
We're on number 11, correct?
Right, but at 10,
317, this is about
Hold on.
the condition of the structure.
Hold on.
I know, but we have 1030 police cases.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
I didn't know they were at 10:30. Okay.
Okay, do we want to
Do you want to finish?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What do you want to do? It's up to you.
We're doing the police cases. We have to do the
Okay,
police
we'll
cases,
wait.
yeah. I'm sorry, John.
All right, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, first case number, actually, you could swear them in.
Sir, can I swear you in? Do you swear from to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you, sir. And your name for the record?
Sergeant Timothy Colvin.
Thank you, sir.
Which case is first?
It's gonna be.
First case number 21541 Belvedere Road, Shell Gas Station, CE 23070095.
This is also number 2 on the other matters agenda.
All right, Sergeant Colvin, Timothy Colvin, City West Palm Beach Police. On Thursday, April 27, 2023, I was a case agent for an undercover operation designed to check point-of-sale vendors that they're properly checking IDs prior to selling alcohol. In order to do so, I employed the use of 2 underage buyers that were the age of 19 and 20 at the time of the buys. They were checked for proper IDs, which they had. At approximately 14 hours, I sent the confidential sources into the Shell gas station at 1514 Belvedere Road. They picked up a 12-pack of White Claw, which has 5% alcohol by volume. They went to the clerk. They were able to buy the alcohol without the use of proper ID. The ID was looked at, but sold anyway. And the ID did show that they were underage at the time. Sergeant Clark then went inside, made contact with the clerk. After the girls came back out, gave us the alcohol and the change, went back in, made contact with the clerk, explained to them they had sold. I believe that the business, Shell, has violated Florida Statute 516, 111, 181, and City Ordinance 6-12. This is, I think it's their second offense. City's asking for a one-time fine of $500.
Just a couple of questions, Sergeant Colvin. There's an affidavit of posting that we're showing right now. It's, would it be your testimony that code enforcement has posted the notice of violation of this particular 6-12 violation in accordance with statutory requirements?
I believe so, based on the photographs in front of me.
Okay. And you generated, or your team generated, a report and other documentation that you're relying upon today?
I generated the report and I was present for the buy.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, as well as the underlying police report and all documents pertaining to that report as well, and photographs if I didn't say it. Thank you.
Thank you. And could I see the posting affidavit again?
It was hand-delivered.
On July 7th, okay. All right, your names for the record?
Narla Durest.
And your name?
Ezras Aurelia.
All right, the documents that the city has put on the screen they'd like to enter into the record. Do you have any objection to those documents being entered into the record?
Okay, actually, I works in the, gas station for, cashier, and also, at that time, I had to use the restroom, and he was in training, so I had to train him. So, I couldn't hold my peace, so I went straight to the bathroom. And also, I came back to the register, and this is what I found. So he did not have no idea, because he was in training.
Okay. Any objection to those documents being entered into the record?
Repeat that again?
Any objection to the documents, the notice being entered into the record, the photographs that have been showing on the screens? The city would like to just put those into the case file. Do you have any objection to those?
No.
And you said you're a cashier for the gas station, is that correct?
Yes, I've been working there for a year.
Does the owner of the gas station know that you're here representing them today?
Yes.
Okay, you're here, sir. Okay, very good. All right, so you've heard what the city is saying. I mean, the city clearly has a violation here. They're asking for a one-time fine in the amount of $500. They're indicating this is a second offense on the property.
But I always ask for ID, so I don't know what the first offense, we always ask for ID.
The offenses aren't to you personally or to him personally, it's to the business itself. It was another clerk that did it last time. The fines we're assessing is to the business. I'm not fining the individual himself.
And you know what I failed to do? I'm sorry. I need to swear you all in as well. Can you raise your right hands for me? Yeah, all of you, all three of you. You, sir, raise your right hand. Do you all swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. And your name in the middle, sir, the owner?
Latif Moshadi.
Come a little closer to the microphone.
Latif Moshadi.
Okay, thank you. So what the city is saying is that the business has been cited previously. This is a second offense on the property for failing for selling alcohol to minors. In this case, he indicated that the ID was checked, but that the alcohol was sold anyway.
Before all the time, I never sell, and please give me the good record for over there.
What is that, sir? Show it to the city first. Oh, that's the case card that you left?
That's just the case card I left that night, letting them know that the report had
Okay.
been generated.
Okay.
To
I
get
never
to
sell,
the owner.
by mistake
That's
is
the first
over there.
step to notify
New
the
guy
owner.
training, that's the reason.
Yeah, so I mean, the violation is very clear here. I have to fine for the city, but what you need to do is make sure that anybody, even when the primary cashier has to use the restroom, that anybody on site knows and is properly trained to check ID and not sell alcohol to minors.
Yeah.
So anything further from you?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anything further from the city?
No, I just want to make sure they're clear that we're finding the business itself, not the
Right, not the
clerks.
individuals, correct. It's the business is being found in violation, not the individuals or those who sold. All right, in case CE 23070095, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file without objection as composite exhibit 1. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the testimony of the officer as well as the evidence in the case file that the respondent's in violation of 6-12. And I'll assess a one-time fine in the amount of $500. So, sir, please get all of your employees trained up so you don't come back for a subsequent violation in the future.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Here's a copy of the order. Number 3 other matters, 1840 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, Marathon Gas Station, CE 23070096.
Special Magistrate, I think this gentleman would need to be sworn.
Thank you. Sir, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Hold on while the city testifies, and I'll call on you again, sir.
Well, this was 840 Palm Beach Lakes?
1840.
Okay. It's Sergeant Colvin, City of West Palm Beach Police. On Thursday, April 27, 2023, I was working a undercover operation to check point-of-sale vendors. They're properly checking ID prior to selling alcohol. In order to do so, I employed the use of 2 underage buyers. One was 19, one was 20 at the time of the buys. They were checked for proper ID, which they had. At approximately 21:06 hours, the confidential sources entered the Marathon gas station, 1840 Palm Beach Lakes. They retrieved a 12-pack of White Claw, which is 5% alcohol by volume. They went to the clerk, were able to purchase the alcohol without use of proper ID. It wasn't checked at all. Following the buy, they went out to the car, made contact with myself, Sergeant Clark, who then went inside, made contact with the clerk, explained to them what happened, took a picture of the clerk that sold and the alcohol that was sold. I believe that the business has violated City Order 6-12. I believe this was their fourth offense. This is their fourth offense. We're asking for a $500 fine.
Thank you very much, Officer Colvin. Just a couple of questions. There is an affidavit of posting in the file. Is it your testimony that the notice of violation with the underlying police officer report was sent by in accordance with statutory requirements on this case?
Yes. from what I see.
Thank you very much. And again, on this case, you prepared or your team prepared a report of this statutory violation,
Correct. I generated the report and was observed the purchase.
and the photographs are an accurate and appropriate depiction of the alcohol purchased and the clerk that was involved. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation or notice letter, the affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, police report, and any attachments to the police report, and any other documents relied upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Your name, sir?
Raymond Dwyer.
Thank you. What's your relation to the Marathon gas station?
I'm in charge of customer service.
All right. Does the owner know that you're here representing them today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So you hear what the city's saying. They're saying that you sold alcohol, and this is your to an underage minor, and that this is your fourth offense. It sounds like this is a bit of a pattern of behavior. So hopefully you are implementing steps to make sure that your employees are trained or the employees on site are trained so that they are not selling alcohol to those who are underage. Do you have any response to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Unfortunately, the evidence before me is pretty clear, so I'm going to find you in violation or find the site, the Marathon gas station, in violation of the city's code. But I would certainly encourage you to train all your staff, do some additional training so that underage alcohol sales are not occurring on the property in the future. Is that clear, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any objection to the documents that are being shown on the screen being entered into the record?
Ma'am.
Thank you, sir. With that, in case CE 23070096, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the officer's testimony as well as the photographs that the respondent's in violation of Section 6-12, and I'll assess a one-time fine in the amount of $500. Good luck to you, sir. Get the staff trained up. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Back to number
No more for the year? Okay, all right.
back to number 11, 317 Grayman Drive, CE 23060099.
Okay, John Frosca, West Palm Beach Code. This property was cited for structural repairs. It is an historic, designated historic contributing structure. The certified mail was sent out on June 12th of 2023, and the property is posted on June 9th of 2023. I have had conversations via email with the owner of the property, with the owner's son, who says that he has now, his parents passed away and has legal authority to act. So in the conversation that I had about the exterior repairs, because this is an historic structure, and about 3 years ago, he was cited for a boarding certificate, which is expired. So the violations that are outstanding are exterior walls repair, surround the property, the repair of the doors and windows, and exterior paint. Now, that has to do with the structure. And then the landscape maintenance, because it's in poor condition, weeds and dirt and debris. In my conversation via email that I had stated that I would request 180 days for the property to be brought into compliance with the structural repairs. And then we can include the landscaping in that. It is not as bad as the vacant lot, which is next door, but it does need some attention. So, with that said, and to go over it, repairing of the exterior walls, especially that surround the windows where it's all rotted, that is gonna need a permit, and it's gonna need a permit for the windows, the window replacement. Some of those windows, they couldn't repair them, and there's some windows that are missing and boarded up. So that also requires a permit, hence the, requesting 180 days and to get moving on that. He did send me a plan of interior renovations, what his concepts were, but because I'm not privy to the inside of it, he can work on that as well. So I believe that he is moving in the right direction, and that's why I want to work with him and request the 180 days.
What's the fine amount if there's non-compliance? The fine amount if there's non-compliance?
$100 a day
Okay.
after 180 days if not complied.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, I put it there.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it is.
Did you post City Hall with this notice of violation?
I posted City Hall and I posted the property, yes.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations you've observed on the property with respect to this particular case?
They are.
And all the alleged violations in this particular case, they are not duplicative of the other two cases we just heard today for this address, correct?
The one other case.
Excuse me, one other case.
Right,
Okay, very good, thank you.
right, they're not.
And again, just for the record, in this case, this is a vacant property, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. So you're saying that they need permits not only for the windows, but for the casing or the areas around the windows too. Would that be accurate?
Right, there's a lot of rotted wood. You can see there's open areas. There's missing windows, areas that are boarded up, that don't have windows at all. The windows have to be functional and operable. They are not. They're in very poor condition.
You talked about, there's an 18106G alleged violation for paint. Can this be cured with
Yes.
power washing, or this is,
Oh, no, that paint is deteriorated past the point of being acceptable. It's just chalky and powdered, and it's no longer protective.
all right, and you're seeing this all around the house, the structure, not just in one isolated area?
Right, it's not. And it's a difficult situation like this, because of the type of, and letting it go for a long period of time, that there may be greater issues structurally with this property. And if they do exploratories and go inside, they may see that there are greater issues than that. So we'll see how it unfolds, but as it stands, this is where we're at.
Okay, we see some photographs about showing the landscaping, but can you put in the record your testimony of what you've observed about the landscaping that you believe is a violation?
It's just in poor condition. It's not maintained. There's no irrigation. I mean, you have bare areas like in the front yard and around the property, and where they removed the Florida holly that abuts that property, that actually is on a little bit more over the property line in the rear. So,
Okay, thank you. Do you believe that 180 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23060099, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs and testimony of city staff that the respondent's in violation of section 18103B, 18103E, 18106G, 94442E, 94446-2, and require compliance within 180 days or assessment of $100 per day fine for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Number 12727 Tuscaloosa Street, E CE 23060219.
We'll wait until the pictures are up. John Frosco, West Palm Beach Code. This property was cited on June 14th of 2023, and the property was posted on June 15th, 2023, and certified mail was sent on June 16th of 2023. Also, City Hall was posted. Okay. Could we skip to the pictures that I took this morning? Go right to them, those pictures. As of date, the property is not complied. Okay. This is what I took this morning. So they were cited for a failure to comply, or the city would abate the property and all costs billed back to the owner for the overgrowth, where the grass exceeds 6 inches, and to clean up the entire property. And for the record, the structure in the rear of the property, which you're looking at part of it now, has been cited on a separate case, giving them reasonable time to comply with those violations. But because this is a health, life, safety issue, I wanted that to be heard as quickly as possible and adhere to the code as strict as I could. That's why this is here and the other cases for later on. Just so you know, I've addressed that issue. The junk vehicle, or the lawfully inoperable vehicle, is new since I wrote the case up, which is something else that I'll have to address.
All right, so let's go through some questions. Is there an executed affidavit of posting on this file?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we're reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, they sure do.
Is this a vacant property?
Yes, it is.
And have you had any communication from an owner or representative of the property?
No, I have not.
Okay. Are you seeing any progress at all?
No progress.
Thank you.
It's worse than ever.
Okay. I want to make the record clear. You said that there's another case that it addresses stuff. Does that case address overgrowth or address cleanup to the center of the right-of-way?
No, the other case is about the condition of the structure.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. You mentioned that you are looking for an abatement. Is that an immediate abatement, or do you want to are you giving them 15 days?
I think 15 days to comply, and then we, if it reoccurs during an event after that, because with, vacant properties, they usually do, especially if they have not, then we can readdress it as a repeat violation and enter fines. So this way, we can abate it for the community and get that all cleaned up and get that area cleaned up. And move on from there. And then if it comes up again, the condition of the grounds, then we can ask for a repeat violation and then establish it that way.
Okay, to be clear, you'd like to give them at least 15 days to work on this, correct?
Yes.
You believe 15 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
It's more than reasonable. I'm looking at, the notice being sent out, then them to get somebody there and do that, and then balancing it out for myself to be able to put it on the agenda to get it cleaned up with the contractor.
Okay. If they clean it up such that they've complied these violations within 15 days, there's no further abatement that you're seeking, correct?
Correct.
Okay. With respect to the fact that you are seeking an abatement, what is it about the property that you believe rises to the level of a health, safety, welfare violation that should trigger abatement?
When I first went out there, I was all bit up by mosquitoes. So just in that alone, the overgrowth that attracts the snakes, the vermins, any of the things, and the smell that comes from the property.
Are you seeing standing water that's attracting more mosquitoes
Yes,
than
there's
normal?
actually a picture there that shows some standing water.
Okay.
It doesn't take much for a mosquito to develop. It doesn't need a big pool of water.
Okay. So you believe that the status of the property is an attractive nuisance to others as well as pests and can
Yes.
bring disease or other types of injurious problems, correct?
Yes, I've already had complaints after the fact that I wrote it up by neighborhoods, but that was after the fact.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to, is there a structure on this property or is it a vacant lot?
No, there's a structure in the rear of the property. You can see it in the first, that's part of it.
But that is vacant, right?
Right, it is vacant, it's
Okay.
boarded up. There's all the exterior violations, just like the other property that we reviewed. But I had to give him, who the owner is, or their representative, a reasonable time to comply with that. That's the difference. The other property that I had they were already on notice about the structural violations. So
Okay.
when I cite with balance.
Okay. Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 2306-0219, for the record, the respondent is not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs and testimony of city staff that the respondent's in violation of Section 18215B, 744C3, 744C5, and that those violations amount to health, safety, welfare violations. I'll require respondents to comply within 15 days or authorize the city to abate to eliminate the risk of health, safety, welfare issues from those violations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, number 13-1043 30th Court, CE 23050096, is not rescheduled.
Good morning, J. Francis, West Palm Beach Code Compliance. 1043 30th Court was cited on 5/10/23. Certified mail and regular mail was sent on 5/15/23. Certified mail was returned on 5/28/23. Both the property and City Hall were posted on 7/7/23, and the affidavit of posting was completed. I have not been in contact with this property owner. The property was cited for excessive growth, landscape maintenance, sodding the swale and parkway, and outside storage. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is requesting an additional 30 days for the property to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance, then the city is asking for $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Officer Francis, a couple of questions. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you just tell us briefly for each of these alleged violations what it is that you observed?
Well, for the outdoor storage, they have like a whole stove outside, couple gas cans and other stuff outside as well. There's a few bare areas of that's missing sod in the swale, as well as on the landscaping itself. And there's a section of overgrowth to the east side of the property.
Okay, so you're seeing, these photos are showing, that's the overgrowth right there,
Yes.
right? Okay, so that's pretty high up there, and you're seeing multiple areas of bare, dirt
Where sod is
or
needed, yes.
where it's missing
Both
sod.
in the swale and on the property itself.
Okay, have you seen any progress at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23050096, for the record, the respondent is not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. And I'll find based on the testimony of the city code officer as well as the photographs in the case file that the respondent is in violation of Section 18106B, 18106K, 94442E, 9471C. And that's it. And I'll require the respondents to comply within 30 days or face a $100 per day fine for each day the violation continues thereafter.
Number 14-935 44th Street, CE 23050316, also not rescheduled.
J. Francis, West Palm Beach Code Compliance. 935 44th Street was cited on 5/25/23. Certified mail and regular mail was sent on 5/26/23. Certified mail was received 5/30/23. Both the property and City Hall were posted on 7/5/23. Affidavit of posting was completed and added to the file. I have been in contact with this property owner. The property was cited for junk and inoperative vehicle, outdoor storage, and unpaved parking. As of this morning, the property has not come into compliance. Therefore, the city is requesting an additional 45 days for the property to come into compliance. If they do not, then the city is asking for 50 days until compliance is achieved.
Are you saying $50?
$50, I'm sorry, I said 50 days.
Not a problem. The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that
Yes.
you've observed on the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it about the vehicles that you believe make them junk or abandoned?
Well, the white Hummer, if the tires are flat and the transmission right there is sitting on the ground, you can't move that. And then the Mercedes that's parked on the grass as well is not registered and doesn't have a tag.
Okay. And how recently have you inspected this property?
I'd say Monday.
Monday? Okay.
Yes.
And you're still seeing these problems?
Yes, the property owner actually called me and asked me if I could give her 45 days. She's having a bit of difficulty moving all the cars at once, especially the Hummer, since she have to get somebody to put the transmission back in.
Okay. And it's your testimony, I think I heard you say that either one or more of these cars is parking not on the driveway, but
Yes, on the grass.
And what are you seeing in outdoor storage?
Going to where is it? They had there you go, the bumper for the other yellow Mercedes that was back there.
Okay. What about that trailer?
And the trailer
Anything
as
with
well,
the
I'm
trailer
sorry.
or no? Do they have to move that trailer or no?
It could be screened.
Okay, very good. And do you believe that 45 days is a reasonable amount of time that this property owner could do these things?
Yes.
Okay, very good,
Yes.
thank you. And thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23050316, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs and testimony of the city code officer that the respondent's in violation of Section 34102A, 94482A, 9471C, and I'll require compliance within 45 days or assessment of a fine of $50 per day for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Thank you.
Number 15, 1024, 26th Court, CE 23050402. That case is complied. Number 16, 2727, Rosemary Avenue 19, CE 23060043. That case is rescheduled. Number 17, 718, 42nd Street, CE 230300, 0334.
Morning, Magistrate. I haven't been sworn in.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Santa Mills Code Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on May 22nd, 2023. Services accomplished by certified mail sent on May 24, 2023. Certified mail was signed for on May 30, 2023. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on May 30, 2023. I have been in contact with the property manager, Mr. Jonathan Liftnoff. The property was cited for not having a rental license as well as certificate of use, trash can placement, address characters not being visible from the street, open areas with no sod, as well as the driveway in disrepair, and outdoor storage. As of Monday, when I saw the property, the only thing that was in compliance was the outdoor storage. Everything else is still outstanding. The city is requesting an additional 120 days and 200 days if no compliance is achieved.
I'm sorry, 120 days and?
And 200.
200, thank you. All right, is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
There is.
And I may have missed it, but did the notice of violation get sent out by regular first-class mail?
It did.
Photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations you've observed at the property?
They do.
What is it that you can tell us on the record to confirm that it's being rented?
I actually did the rental inspection.
Okay.
However, they had some other stuff that they needed to fix inside, so it's still pending.
Okay. So they did make an application, and thus they are confirming, obviously, that they are renting currently.
That's correct.
And can you tell us, the trash can is in view on days that it's not supposed to be out? Is that
That's
accurate?
correct. It's almost as if that trash can is always in that corner.
Okay. And the numbering is for the front of the structure that can't be seen?
Right, there are 2 units, only one is visible from the street and the other is not.
Okay. Okay. And just to tell us a little bit about the landscaping and the parking area?
Okay, so the driveway, it seems as if it was a ribbon driveway before. And I'm showing where, to the left of it, you can see where there should be sod, where beside the driveway. I spoke to the property manager in regards to the driveway, and he mentioned that he had the contractor put in the application. I didn't see any application in the system. However, I do know that it will take some time in order to get that done, so that's why I'm asking for 120 days for the contract and the permits and everything.
And for that reason, I was going to ask, do you believe 120 days is a reasonable amount of time to do all that?
To be honest, let's put an additional 2 months on it,
An additional?
an additional 60 days on it,
So
just to make
180 days?
Yes.
Okay, very good, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, rental application, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23030334, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the signed certified mailing and the affidavit of posting, that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find, based on the testimony of the city code officer as well as the photographs in the case file, that the respondent's in violation of 22-441, 74-34A1H, 22-32A, 78-64, 94-442C1, and 94-485E. You said 94-71C is complied and no finding of fact on that?
No.
Okay. For those sections listed, I'll require compliance within 180 days, or a $200 a day fine will be assessed for each day thereafter.
Number 18, 623 45th Street, CE 23030365.
Code Officer Mills for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on May 22nd, 2023. Services accomplished by certified mail sent on May 24, 2023. Certified mail was returned on May 31st, 2023. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on May 30, 2023. I have been in contact with the owner of the property. The property was cited for landscape maintenance, not having a certificate of use or a rental license, incorrect address characters, as well as open areas and outdoor storage. As of yesterday, everything has been in compliance except for the rental license and the certificate of use. I went by the property, the owner called me saying that he was ready for the inspection. I got there and he was still doing maintenance on the property. Apparently, the previous renters left recently, so now he has the time to do it. So that's why I'm asking for, the city is asking for an additional 30 days and 100 days thereafter if the rental license and certificate of use is not complied.
Did you say $100?
That's correct.
Okay. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in the file?
There is.
And does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
It does.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
They do.
And so there is a rental license application in the system.
There is.
Just waiting on a final inspection that hasn't failed.
That's correct.
Okay. And do you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring this alleged violation into compliance?
I do.
At the time of the application, was the property still being rented?
That's correct.
Okay, but it's,
I did the first inspection while he had a tenant in there, and then they recently moved out, so now he's rushing to get everything.
they
Sorry.
recently,
They left.
okay.
They moved out.
You know that they moved out?
Yes, when I went there yesterday, the property was vacant and he was currently working on it with someone else. However, the AC unit was still out, so I informed him that he would still have to come to do the magistrate hearing, and I would ask for additional time in order to get everything up and running.
Okay. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
All right, in case CE 23030365, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service. And you said the only things outstanding were the rental license and the COU, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Final inspection.
Okay. All right, I'll find based on the photographs and the evidentiary case file entered into the record, as well as the testimony of the city code officer, that the respondents are in violation of section 2232A and 22441. I'll require them to comply within 30 days or assess a fine of $100 per day for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Number 19, 401 47th Street, CE 2305021.
San Mills Code Officer Mills to the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on May 22nd, 2023. Service was accomplished by certified mail sent on May 24, 2023. Certified mail was signed for on May 27, 2023. In addition, both the city and property were posted on May 30, 2023. I have not been in contact with the owner of the property. The property was cited for trash and debris, landscape maintenance, as well as swale maintenance and open area needing sod. As of Monday, the property has partial compliance. The only thing that's outstanding is the swale maintenance. The adjacent property was cited just to make sure that everything is cohesive in the end. In addition, the city is asking for an additional 30 days and $50 a day if compliance is not achieved.
Thank you. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in the file?
There is.
Does the affidavit, excuse me, does the affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
It does.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
They do.
With respect to the remaining alleged violation in the Swalen Parkway, can you just tell us for the record what it is you observed?
Okay, so we still have trash and debris in the swale itself. The property itself is in complete compliance because he had the same issue on it. He basically got rid of the stump, started everything, but the swale is still an issue. So, seeing as though the swale is shared by him and everyone else, the adjacent property owner, I believe they are the ones that are constantly putting the stuff in, so they have been cited, and the additional 30 days was given so that the adjacent property could come into compliance, and then he could maintain his section of it.
Okay, and just for the record, on this particular case, this is a vacant lot, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and based on your photographs, time-stamped, it looks like you inspected as recently as July 17th?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. And you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring this alleged violation into compliance?
That's correct.
Thank you so much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. And you said the only thing outstanding is 7894C, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. In case CE 23050251, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files, composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the signed certified mail as well as the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs and the testimony of the city code officer that the respondent is in violation of section 7894C, and I'll require compliance within 30 days or a $50 day fine for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Number 204801 Broadway, CE 230600075.
Santa Mills Code Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on June 7, 2023. Service was accomplished by certified mail sent on June 8, 2023. Certified mail was returned on June 15, 2023. In addition, both the property and City Hall were posted on June 8, 2023. I have been in contact with the office manager, which is Holly Privy. The property was cited for a rental license as well as a business tax receipt. Originally, the application was put in for 2019, and it was actually cited to continue the process. They only needed the fire inspection. I'm showing where they did get in contact with fire, but because the application was so old, they had to start over the whole process. So now I'm asking for an additional 60 days for them to get everything into compliance, because I spoke with the office manager on the 13th of this month, and she asked for an extension until August. So I'm giving her the extra time just to make sure that everything gets done properly.
Thank you.
And $100 per day. If compliance
Thank you
is not
very much.
achieved.
Is there an executed affidavit of posting in the file?
There is.
Does the affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was sent by regular first-class mail?
It does.
Photographs what we've reviewed, are they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the posting on this property?
That's correct.
And just to be clear, you're citing for a business tax receipt for 4801 Broadway LLC to be renting? Or is it a business tax receipt for Ministerio de Dios Pentecostes to be a business?
For the business itself, the property itself does have a rental license.
Okay.
And the business just needs to get theirs.
Very good. And you also, you told us that why they needed the 60 days, so thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23060075, for the record, the respondent is not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the affidavit of posting, that you had good service for today's hearing, and I'll find, based on the testimony of the city code officer as well as the documents entered into the record, that the respondent's in violation of section 2232A, 82144, and I'll require respondents to comply within 60 days or face a $100 a day fine for each day the violation continues thereafter.
Number 21, 1373 9th Street, CE 23040200.
Good morning, Officer Luster, West Palm Code Enforcement.
Were you here when I swore everybody in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Property was posted on 7/7/2023 along with City Hall. The property certified mail was returned to us on 4/27/2023. Wait, no. It's 1373 9th Street. Thank you. The property was cited for the following: failure to obtain a permit for central air conditioning unit, landscape requirements, garbage can placement, numbering standards, landscaping of property, landscaping of swell, unpaved parking, resurfacing of driveway, screening of restricted vehicle, the RV, and land use in regards to the RV and outdoor storage. The code that has come into compliance is the numbering standards. I have spoke with the property owner on numerous occasions. He is an out-of-state owner that's relocating here, and he brought the RV down initially when he purchased the property, and he thought he could actually live in it while he was rehabbing the property. He understands he can't do that, and he's in the process of trying to accommodate all other violations, and he asked for 60 days or $50 per day after.
Thank you. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to what it is that's still outstanding, can you just tell us for the record what it is that you've observed? You said that, you already said that there's evidence that he was living in there in the RV and that he admits to that. So other than those,
Okay. He installed a new central air unit, so he still needs to obtain the permit for that and get that inspected. The landscape code was in regards to, the RV is actually just sitting in dirt. And it's other areas, it's no sod under that at all. He needs to sod that area, and the unpaved parking, of course, would be the RV itself. And most of the time, he has vehicles parked on the side of the driveway or in the top of the yard. And being by the grace of the good Lord, it's rained enough to where the yard has really grown in tremendously. So the unpaved parking would be the RV, the other vehicles that are unpaved, and resurfacing of the driveway. That's something that he's gonna also have to obtain a permit to get it redone. The outdoor storage was pertaining to recycle bins, CBS blocks, because he made steps for the RV so he can get in it. I think that might have been it. And the garbage can placement is always in view of public when not out for pickup. Yes, ma'am, that's basically where it lives.
okay. Just a couple of follow-up questions. You mentioned that the bare dirt areas need sod. Would that also, they could also do approved ground cover or no?
Sure.
Okay.
They could do improved ground cover.
And the failure to secure building permit, you talked about the air conditioning unit. The agenda also says windows. Is there anything else that we're talking about besides the air conditioner?
I ended up researching back into the property address, and the previous owner did obtain the permit for the windows.
Okay.
So that's no longer an issue for his permitting issues.
Okay. And you and the owner talked about 60 days. Do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
By him being an out-of-state owner and trying to relocate down here, I would have asked for more time, so 120.
Okay.
Just to be all fair in regards to his situation.
Okay.
He might not realize how difficult it's going to be, but it's going to be.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23040200, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. And I'll find based on the photographs and the testimony of the city code officer that the respondent's in violation of section 105.1, 18161, 7434A1J, 94442C1, 94442E, 94482A, 94485B1E, 94487B5, 946, and 9471C. And I'll require the respondent to comply within 120 days or face a $150 a day fine for each day the violation continues thereafter.
Number 221427 7th Street, CE 230402236.
Officer Luster, West Palm Code. The property was posted on 7/7/2023 along with City Hall. Certified mail was returned to us on 5/9/2023. The property was cited for the following violations: extermination of pests, and meaning rats, landscape maintenance, junk inoperable vehicle in public view, garbage debris and overgrowth, evidence of engaging in business, and landscape requiring to landscape bare areas, and unpaved parking and resurfacing of the driveway. This also is I've had contact with the property owner. It's brother and sister ownership. The brother and sister do live out of state. The brother lives here part-time, but he's been hospitalized for quite some time. So the sister that's out of state is trying to handle the property in-state. So they've the tenant removed, so that clears up engaging in business without a proper license. The tenant is gone, and they have no intentions of renting the property no time soon. What they're going to do is do a total rehab on the property, and she's asking for 6 months to come into full compliance. And what is still out of compliance is the extermination of pests. They've gone into a contract with Hewlett, and they are going to tint the house, I think on the 31st of this month, but that should be in the email that's attached to the case. The landscape, they are maintaining the landscaping. The junk vehicle has been removed, inoperable also been removed. And 74-4, debris is still on the property, but I think that was because of the landscaper just did not take away the debris. So that's still out of compliance. Landscaping the bare areas, that has complied, and the unpaved parking, which is resurfacing in a driveway, that's one of the items that they're gonna do once they obtain the permit to have the property remodeled. So that's how that goes. So I'm asking for the 6 months or $50 per day after.
Thank you very much. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs and video that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
I think you had said the 18102-4 for extermination, that's still outstanding, but that they have a contract. For 18106-1, landscape requirements, would that be complied by now, or it's still
That's
outstanding?
complied. They're
That's complied.
maintaining the property as far as that goes.
Okay, junk and abandon complied, inoperable vehicles complied, but you're still seeing some debris for
Correct.
74-4. What debris, can you just describe for the record, just?
If you pull into that picture, Monique, please. And it's a tire still there, and I don't know what that pole looked like, a mop pole.
Okay.
And they still, somebody put the can out front, but that's
Okay.
after the fact.
And then the only other one that you said was still outstanding was the driving resurfacing in 94-482A. Can you just tell us for the record what it is you observed?
The driveway is just basically in disrepair. It's a large driveway, and once they get the permit to do the remodel, they're gonna put that in for us, getting that resurfaced or just completely removed and redone.
Okay, so we're seeing some cracking
Oh,
and
it's in
other
disrepair.
problems that would lead us to believe it's disrepaired, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And 6 months is 180 days. Do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, and I did inform the owner, if the outside violations come into compliance, then that would satisfy the violation, and then they can move forward on however they want to do their renovation from that point forward.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23040236, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the affidavit of posting, that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find that based on the photographs and the testimony of the city code officer, that the respondents are in violation of section 18102-4, 74-4, and 94-482A, and I'll require respondents to comply within 180 days or face a $50 a day fine for each day the violation continues thereafter.
Thank you.
Number 23, 1392 7th Street, CE 230402237.
Officer Lester, West Palm Code. This property was posted on 7/7/2023 along with City Hall. I have spoke with the owner, and the property was cited for the following violation: external door and window, it was a broken window, painting of unit, maintaining of landscaping, meaning keeping it mowed, and landscaping bare areas, and unpaved parking and resurfacing of driveway. The owner has asked for 90 days, and being that finances are a little not there at this moment, and he's going to have the driveway enlarged So that one little was a parking pad will no longer be. And if you look to further pictures where the car is being parked, the one in the rear is no longer there, but he continues to park on the side of the parking pad. So once he get the funds in 90 days, he's going to install a parking pad. So I'm asking for the 90 days or the $50 per day after. And everything is, the home has been painted, so that's in compliance. He's maintaining the landscaping in compliance. He's repaired the cracked front window. The only remaining violation is the unpaved parking and resurfacing or installing a new driveway. So I'm asking for that 90 days.
Thank you very much. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
I think I missed it, but was the notice of violation sent out by certified mail?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it sent out by regular first-class mail?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
And the owner asked for 90 days. Do you believe 90 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring the remaining alleged violation into compliance?
He said it would be, and yeah, I think it would. He only needs to get the permit for the driveway and get that installed.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23040237, for the record, the respondent is not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs and testimony of the city code officer that the respondent's in violation of section 94-482A and require compliance within 90 days or assessment of a $50 a day fine for each day the violation continues thereafter.
Thank you.
On to other matters. Number 1, 638 50th Street, CE 20090002. Number 1, 638 50th Street.
Sorry about that. Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property here at 638 50th Street was originally cited on September 1st, 2020. That went to hearing October 21st, 2020. The fine was ordered and started on November 23rd, 2020. That fine ran for 603 days at $100 a day for a total of $60,300, excuse me, and that was complied on July 19th of 2022. The owner was cited for trash and debris, sod needed in the swell, overgrowth of the overall yard, high grass, unpaved parking, sod needed in the front yard, outdoor storage, garbage can placement. There was an above-ground pool that was prohibited on the property, as well as rental license and certificate of use needed, and address characters needed on the home. Since that has been brought into compliance under the same ownership, the city is requesting for the fine to be reduced of 25% of the lien, which would be a total of $15,075. And I also did double check service was achieved by certified mail, which he does have an issue with. The county did. There was a discrepancy with his address on file. However, service was also achieved by the property being posted.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Your name, sir, for the record?
Charles Beaton.
Thank you. So you are here today on fine reduction hearing. You've heard the city's position. What's your position?
Special Magistrate, was he sworn in?
I'm sorry, no, you weren't, sir. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
The thing, what happened in this property, I was not aware of the letters. I never got the letters. Not saying that I'm okay, but I was just not aware. The reason it took so long is because I never got the letters. And it got to the point that Mr. Watkins, he was the code officer, went there after a year or more, and he saw the tenant there. The tenant never told me anything about the posting or anything. I was just not aware. Mr. Watkins told the tenant, why the owner is not responding? Can you please give me his number right now? She gave him my number. He called me, and for me it was a shock. I wasn't aware. He told me, look, there's a lien on your property, you know, I wasn't aware of it. I went to the city right away. I came to the city. I tried to understand what is my position, what I need to do. From there, they told me, go to the county, find out what's going on, because they told me the mailing address that they have. And I didn't even know what is this mailing address. It's not something that's related to me at all. I went to the county. I spoke with Kimberly Gunn. She's a specialist from the deed processing department. And she told me, she apologized, and she told me that from some reason, she don't know why, they just entered the wrong address, mailing address, for my mailing address. Out of the blue, something that's not even related to me at all.
Okay.
She sent me an email. I asked her if she can give me something because the city told me, I came back to the city and I told them, she told me, go back to her, see if she can give you something that will be as a proof of that. I went back to her. I asked her if she can give me something, just that it won't be just me saying it, that it's a proof. And she sent me an email the same day that serves as she told me that will serve as a letter from us. I have it with me. I brought a copy for you to see. And I can say that from that moment, I was on top of it, and I was dealing with it all the time. I fixed everything I needed to fix. The tenant were parking on the grass. That was a big issue, and that was killing the grass. I spent thousands of dollars fixing everything, changing things, and making it look the way the city wants it to look, the way I want it to look.
What's the ballpark of how much you spent on getting the property into compliance? Just a ballpark.
Just a ballpark, I can say somewhere around the $12,000.
Okay.
And I'm just, for me, it's an investment I made, hopefully, for the future of my family. It was a big shock to me. I can tell you that if I was aware of it and if I would have gotten the mail, I would take care of it on the spot. And Mr. Watkins left, but he can be my witness that I was in touch with him and I met with him. He was very nice and very helpful, I have to say that. He met with me in the property several times. After I got all the violation, I wanted to meet with him and to see, I wanted him to show me exactly what I need to do, and we did it several times. I met with him several times over there. I was in compliance since then, and I did everything I could to make it right. It's very important to me. I'm not this kind of person that would just let my life collapse. I invested too much in it.
Should I show anything else?
I really hope, that this will help a little bit, because I wasn't aware. I'm not saying I was right. There were violations I needed to fix, but I was just not aware of them.
Right.
And what I need to do exactly.
How long have you owned the property?
I think from 2019, maybe.
19?
I think, more or less.
638.
Special Magistrate, can I inquire a little bit of?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, you have the pop-up printout. Thank you, sir.
So questions for Officer Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
So at the time, you've heard what this gentleman is saying. Do you concur that the county was inaccurate in the address that they used at the time of this notice of violation?
Yes, ma'am. Looking at the document that he showed me from I guess it's an email from the county of them apologizing for the mix-up in the address. As I stated previously, even though the certified mailing was not done properly, the property was posted by the code officer with the correct notice of violation. The tenant failed to notify the owner of that.
Okay, so the deed is 4700 Southwest 541st Street, Suite 205, Davie.
And that's
Can
the
we
same
just-
thing here.
Can we just determine, can we see the notice of violation? So that's a totally different address? Okay, so the notice of violation went to a totally different address. We'd like to check the tax collector's office.
Right here, where do we go here?
That's the tax collector? So the tax collector is a totally different address than what we used as well? Okay. So,
And
s-
Do you want to see, I'm sorry, do you want to see the document that he has? I'd like to see the document that he has. Can you give that to
Sure.
the code officer and he'll give it to the city attorney, please? And then I'll look at it if they have no objection.
What about posting the property?
You want to show it to your city attorney before I look at it?
The city doesn't have an objection to the document. The document is not as specific as we would like, but we'll leave it to you to review and inquire further if you'd like.
Okay, thank you.
So, the address is on 54 Terrace.
Okay, hang on one second.
What is the address? At the time of the notice of violation, it went to the correct address. The pop-up show it did, see it? That's the
So what
correct-
was the wrong address? Is that
That's the
this?
correct address right there.
The 4700 is the correct address, and they changed it the day I went there.
Well, it looks like they're both 4700. One's Southwest 51st Street and one's Southwest 54th Terrace.
No, the address that it was sent to, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, a totally wrong address. Nothing that never got to me.
What was the notice? Do you have the notice
Yes, hold on,
address?
The original.
hold on.
4700 Southwest 54th Terrace, Fort Lauderdale. So that's what was on the property appraiser.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where it was sent and never got to me. The right address is the 51st Street in Davie,
47. It's a little
33314.
confusing that it's 4700. It's 4700 Southwest 51st.
Yes,
So it's a
51st Street in Davie,
okay.
33314. That's the correct.
No. No, wait a minute.
Okay. Because this, like you said, this email doesn't exactly say that,
No.
that the property appraiser had the wrong address, but
Changed his address.
either way, I mean, I don't have any objection to reducing the fine. What I think the city wants you to understand is that the property was also posted with the notice, so your tenant didn't
The
tell you
tenant
about something.
Never showed it to me.
Right, and that's, you know,
It came to me as a shock.
Yeah.
The day that Mr. Watkins called me.
does the city have any additional questions for this gentleman?
No, ma'am.
Does the city have any additional commentary on the fine amount, given the property appraiser issue, or are you standing with what you said before?
It's just that again, even if there was an incorrect address done by the county, the city did what it had to do at the time the notice of violation was issued. We totally understand what the county did, but the city is, per procedure, still needs to bring the lien reduction forward. And the city believes it's a determination for the magistrate.
I'm just asking for a little help. If you
Yeah, and
can,
I'm
just
sympathetic
as
to the property
friends from
appraiser.
the galaxy, you know.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to that, but I do want you to understand that, you know, the state statute requires the city to send notice documents to a specific place. So the property appraiser mix-up is not the city's fault, but I understand you're
100%.
kind of in a pickle because it becomes your fault because you don't.
I knew it coming here. I was aware of that.
Sure.
It's not the city mistake. It's the county mistake. I'm just asking for help. I know I need to pay, of course. Just a little help. That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the amount of money that you put in to get the property back into compliance. None of this was repeat violations, correct? These were all just normal violations?
Correct.
Okay, and no other issues with the property since then? They wouldn't be here if there were, right?
There was one prior case that was complied.
Okay. And were you involved in when this gentleman got involved, and how quickly he complied? Was it as quickly as he said?
That was the code officer.
That was
for
Officer
that
Watkins?
Zone. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna reduce the fine, even further than the city said. I understand. The other thing I would let you know is that all of these liens are recorded in the public record. So just like some people Google themselves regularly, it's also a good idea to put your property in the public records, put your property entity name in the public records to see if anything's been recorded against your property. That's another way you can safeguard yourself in the event that your tenant doesn't give you the notices that they're supposed to be giving you. But that said, anything further from you, sir?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, anything further from the city?
No, ma'am.
All right, in case CE 2009-0002, I'm going to reduce the previous fine amount from $60,300 down to $6,000 payable within 90 days. Given the amount of money that you've spent on getting the property into compliance, given your willingness to come here today, and given your efforts to get it complied as quickly as you could once you found out about the violations in the lien, I'm going to reward that. Because as you say, you can't fix what you don't know about, but I understand and I'm sympathetic to the city's position that they gave you the legal notice they were required to give you, but I hope that gives you the reduction you're seeking, and I'll give this back to you before you leave as well. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Here's a copy of your order.
Marcus.
Okay, back to the regular agenda, number 24, 515 North Flagler Drive, 420 CE 23050399. That case is complied. Number 25, 624 11th Street, CE 23060195. That case is complied. Number 26, 1156 Elizabeth Avenue, CE 23060400. That case is complied. Number 28, 1205 Worthington Street, CE 23070087. That case is complied. Number 29, 501 Fern Street, number 103, CE 23070088. That case is complied. Number 30, 501 Fern Street, CE 23070093.
Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 501 Fern Street was initially cited on 7/7/23. Certified mail was sent on 7/7/23. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted on 7/6/23. Our property was cited for 22-32-A certificate of use and 82-144 business tax receipt. What we have here is within the patio area, the outside patio area, they brought in a food truck. I'm not really 100% sure how they got it there, whether they boomed it in or whatever, but somehow they They brought it into the patio area and made it pretty much like a permanent fixture there. They removed all the wheels, and it's just set up as a permanent restaurant per se in the patio area. They do not have a business license for that. They would need to go through planning and zoning to get approvals if in fact it can be approved. I spoke with the operator of the food truck. He initially stated that someone from the city told him that he could do it. So I said, sir, well, are there any approvals? Did you submit through planning and zoning in order to get some approvals? And he subsequently said no. So I asked him if he recalled the name of the individuals within the city that advised him that he could do it. He wasn't able to produce any names of anyone, but he said that someone advised him that he could do that. But short of a long story is he was advised that he needs to remove the food truck, make application with the city in order to see, first off, if it would be granted. So he said that he would remove it. He said that he didn't really want to, go through any procedures in terms of permitting, and stated that he would just remove it altogether. So I indicated to him that I would present the case and ask for 30 additional days in order to comply, or a fine of $100 per day be imposed.
I'm sorry, I missed the amount of days.
30 days in order to comply, or a fine of $100 per day be imposed.
Okay. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
There is.
And was the notice of violation sent by regular first-class mail?
It was, yes.
Photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
They do.
Thank you. And you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time?
I indicated to him that I was going to ask for 30 additional days in order to comply, and he didn't give any pushback with that. And personally, I think 30 days is sufficient.
Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23070093, for the record, the respondent's not present. Where is the thing? Is it behind an establishment, or is it on a vacant site or something?
Actually, it's in the front of the establishment. This particular establishment, it's when you initially walk up to the entrance, it's kind of like, I guess, like an alcove. It's kind of shaped like, I guess, like an L. Okay, but it's all kind of enclosed, and somehow they got this thing in there. I don't know if they boomed it in there by crane or what have you, because there's literally like stairs, so you wouldn't be able to
drive it in there.
Drive it in.
Yeah.
But somehow he didn't indicate how they got it in there. I mean, it'd be interesting to know how they got it in there, but
it's not related to the buildings that are around it. It's standalone on that portion of concrete.
It's just standalone. Okay. It's just there. I don't know if he had some type of arrangements with maybe the owner, or I have no idea. I just know that it's not permitted. They don't have a business license. They didn't make application for any licenses or any permitting whatsoever.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. I've noted for the record the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the testimony of city code officer as well as the evidentiary case file that respondent's in violation of sections 2232A and 82144, and I'll require compliance within 30 days or assess a $100 a day fine for each day thereafter that the violation continues.
Thank you.
Number 31, 401 53rd Street, CE 23050027.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited May 5th. Certified mail was sent May 5th. Certified mail was returned May 11th. City Hall
Mr. Watkins, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Were you sworn when I swore everybody in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
City Hall was posted June 12th. This property was cited for the business tax receipt rental license. As of yesterday, they haven't renewed it yet or made the payment. Is actually with the fee that's on there now. The city's requesting at this time a one-time fine of $250.
I apologize while I was in conference with my colleague there, just to make the record clear so that I know that it was said, certified and regular, sent out.
Yes.
Property and City Hall posted.
Yes.
Affidavit of posting in your file.
Yes.
And you indicated that you were seeking a one-time fine?
Yes, ma'am.
And
$250 one-time fine.
And what was the underlying reason? And I apologize
For
because
the
I was
business
talking.
tax receipt, just hasn't paid it for the renewal of the rental license.
And do you have testimony as to that they are currently renting?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've spoken with them before. Went through the same thing last year. And they just had them do some landscaping and work when I cited them a couple months ago on the same property. And I spoke to the property managers and all that. So it's a fairly large little community that's on the edge of Flagler.
So how recently have you communicated with the property manager or the owner? Approximately.
March, I would say, when I cited them for the cutting the grass and all that stuff out there.
Okay, and at that time, they were still renting? Were they still renting in May when the notice of violation was done?
There's still tenants there. So one of the tenants moved out, actually, so I'm guaranteed there's cars there still. There's trash bins still put out at almost every unit. Guarantee someone's actually there. They took the letter off the door. There's packages all the time dropped off in all the units. So.
And when was your last inspection of the property?
Yesterday.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23050027, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. And I'll find based on the testimony of city code officer that the respondent's in violation of section 22-441 and 2232A. And I'll assess the one-time fine in the amount of $250.
Number 32, 5609 North Flagler Drive, CE 230500045. That case is complied. Number 33, 557th Street, CE 230500058. That case is complied. Number 34, 621 54th Street, CE 230500097.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited May 10th. Certified mail was sent May 15th. Certified mail was returned May 20th. City Hall was posted June 12th. This property was cited for rental license, renewal certificate of use, junk vehicle, repair exterior walls. As of yesterday, all violations were still out of compliance. City is requesting on this one additional 30 days at $150 per day after.
I just want to confirm we're talking about 621 54th?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
Does it reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it was.
Was the notice of violation posted at the property?
Yes, it was.
Photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, it does.
With respect to the rental license and certificate of use, can you please tell us your testimony that supports that it's an alleged violation?
Well, I spoke to the, number one, they still have at the time, they had a delinquent balance for renewal last month, but I have spoke to the property owner, and she was supposed to meet me there on several occasions. She was supposed to meet with my supervisor, Heiser, on several occasions. She just always falls through on meeting us there. I sent her the literature to let her know how to make the payment, and as of yesterday, when I checked, there still was no payment made when it comes to the rental license. I also sent her the same pictures that are up there so she could see, what I see when I go out to the property, but it seems as if she just walked away from it.
So Is your testimony that it is currently being rented?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's vagrants living in the back, and there's a family that lives in the front.
And the last time you spoke with the owner, did you guys talk about the rental aspect?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that time, she didn't object or deny that she was renting?
No, she told me she was renting it, but she also told me that she just wants to get rid of it and sell it, but she still hasn't, like I say, she's fallen through every time she was supposed to meet us there.
Okay, the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
And for the record, can you tell us about what it is otherwise that you observed for the repairing of roof and walls?
Okay,
The junk and abandoned vehicle?
Yeah, the junk abandoned vehicle is the blue Chevy Tahoe that's right there, and also there's a Cadillac Escalade SUV that's parked there now with no tag or anything with it. I received those photos, the ones without the date stamp from my supervisor Heiser when he went out there, including those. A lot of the other violations that are in the pictures, I've cited this property before, and is there like kind of like still running for those? So I didn't cite for things I already did. But the when it comes to the exterior wall repair, you can see in this picture right below the window, it seems to have been just rotted through. And when it comes to the junk abandoned vehicle, it would be the Tahoe that's blue, that's in the yard with no tag. And now there's a Escalade SUV with no tag. You can see there's no tag on it.
Okay, do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, coming from May, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23050097, I'll enter the city's, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on those photographs entered into the record as well as the testimony of the city code officer that the respondent's in violation of section 18103B, 2232A, 22441, 34102A, and I'll require respondents to comply with each of those sections on or before 30 days, or a fine of $150 per day will be assessed for each day thereafter.
Number 35, 4906 Pinewood Avenue, CE 23050196.
City of West Beach, Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited on May the 16th. Certified mail was sent May 18th. Certified mail was received on May 22nd. City Hall was posted on June the 12th. This property was cited for renewal certificate of use and rental license, excessive growth, fence permit, fence maintenance, landscape maintenance, outdoor storage, and repair to the fascia of the roof. As of yesterday, all violations were still out of compliance. The city is requesting 30 days at $100 per day after.
Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it does.
Was the notice of violation posted at the property?
Yes.
Photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed?
Yes, it does.
With respect to the rental license and COU, what is your testimony that it's currently being rented?
Yes, ma'am. As of yesterday, I spoke to the tenant that lives in the rear just to make sure that they were still there because I didn't see any other vehicles. They still currently live there. And I've spoke to the same property manager that has it, but I haven't gotten any calls back. Before I even cited for this, I didn't get any callbacks from her.
Okay. And for the remaining alleged outstanding violations, can you please tell us for the record what it is you've observed?
There's the rotted wood around the fascia. It's like that on both sides of the property. And on the east side, there's a fence that's in disrepair. You can also see the overgrowth in front of that.
Okay, just for the record, it's a wooden fence we're
Yes,
looking
ma'am.
at,
It's
right?
a wooden fence there that's already leaning onto the adjacent property. There's tires and things. This fence is before when the overgrowth was medium. You'll see in another few pictures where the overgrowth now is just completely taken over the fence. There are spare tires and things laying around the truck out front. There's all kinds of different mop buckets and things out there now. You'll see in the other images.
Okay. And just to make the record clear, the metal fence, is there anything wrong with the metal fence?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance?
Yes, ma'am.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. And CE 23050196, the respondent is not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. And I'll find based on the photographs and testimony of the city code officer that the respondents are in violation of section 18103B, 18106B, 18106M, 2232A, 22441, 94302A3, 94302A4, and 9471C. And I'll require a respondent to comply within 30 days or face a $100 a day fine for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
Number 36, 737 56th Street, CE 23050-197.
City of West Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited May 16th. Certified mail was sent May 18th. Certified mail was returned July 14th. City Hall was posted June 12th. This property was cited for tree abuse, hat rack, and garbage can placement. Compliant violations are all of them with garbage can placement. The garbage can placement, the hat racking cannot be complied. The city's requesting on this one a one-time fine of $150 for the hat racking of the tree.
Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, there is.
Does that affidavit reflect that the notice of violation was also sent by regular first-class mail?
Yes, it was.
Was the notice of violation posted at the property?
Yes, it was.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations that you've observed at the property?
Yes, it does.
Just to make the record clear, the garbage can placement, that is resolved or that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
still outstanding?
Nope, that's resolved.
Okay. The tree abuse, is that resolved or is that outstanding? I know the hat racking is outstanding.
Well, it was a part of that. I mean, the foliage is slowly spotted, growing back in different little areas, but I don't think there is, with this circumstance, there's no way now to say that it's resolved because you don't know how the tree's gonna grow back, the canopy.
Okay, and are we just talking about one tree or more than one?
Just one. It was a fairly large tree in the front.
Very good, thank you. Have you had any communication with the owner or any representative?
Yes, I let him know what the city is seeking and the fine amount, and he's just aware now to make sure he gets an arborist or someone that's help pushes him in the right direction on how to trim the tree instead of just completely.
Okay, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23050197, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. You said you were asking for a one-time fine of $100, is that right?
$150.
$150. I thought I misheard you. Thank you. I'll find based on the photographs in the case file as well as the testimony of the city code officer that the respondent's in violation of section 944462C3 and 944462B3, and I'll assess a one-time fine in the amount of $150 for the violations I just noted.
Number 37, 3950 Georgia Avenue, CE 23060-113.
Good afternoon. City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On 6-9, the business Choice Barbecue located at 3950 Georgia Avenue was cited for failure to obtain a business tax receipt and certificate of use. The business as well as City Hall was posted July 7th. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent June 12th. Certified mail was received June 15th. At the time of posting, I did also leave a copy of the notice of violation with one of the workers at the business, and I did request that someone reach out to me so we can get the business tax squared away. They submitted an application and just walked away after that. They are serving alcohol at this establishment, and city has no record of an alcohol license. So with that being said, city's recommending 30 days to obtain business tax receipt and submit all required documentation, or a one-time fine of $250 and $100 a day for the COU until the business tax is obtained. As of yesterday, still no one has made contact with me to go ahead and resolve the issue at the business.
Thank you very much. I think I heard you, you said Troy's Barbecue.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is there an executed affidavit of posting in the file?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the posting and photographs of this particular business on this property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And with respect to the 30 days for the COU, do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time within which to bring these alleged violations into compliance? I know you said that there's no evidence of an alcohol license, and
right.
So would 30 days be reasonable to kind of get everything and
Yes, I mean, if they're serving alcohol, it has to be a motion. They just hasn't provided that documentation to us or finished out the application process to obtain a business tax receipt. They still require a code inspection due to failure of providing what's required to move forward with the business tax receipt. And all I want is for someone to make contact with me so I can get them pushing. But I don't know what else to do.
Okay. Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, emails, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. And just so I'm clear on the requested remedy, for the BTR was comply within 30 days or a one-time fine of $250, and for the certificate of use, comply within 30 days.
And then for the certificate of use, we're requiring $100 a day for the certificate of use.
But the same
business
30 days?
tax is the one-time fine.
Right, but for the COU, the same 30 days to comply?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
very good. Thank you, sir. All right, in case CE 23060113, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the testimony of city staff as well as the evidentiary case file that the respondent's in violation of section 2232A and section 82144. With regard to 82144, I'll require respondents to comply within 30 days or be assessed a one-time fine of $250 a day. Regarding violation of 2232A, I'll require respondents to comply within 30 days or be assessed a fine of $100 per day until the violation is cured.
Number 39, 7800 Okeechobee Boulevard, CE 23060283.
Good afternoon, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On 621, the business location at 7800 Okeechobee Boulevard was cited for prohibited portable signage. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted July 5th. Certified mail as well as regular mail went out June 23rd. Certified mail was returned July 14th. As of yesterday, the flags are still flying along the roadway. I've also had prior conversation with the property manager of this in particular property in regards to these type of illegal signs. So they're well aware that these are not permitted inside the city of West Palm. But as of yesterday, they're back out again. City's requesting 15 days to bring the property into compliance, or $150 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violation that you've observed?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I understand correctly that you're giving them 15 days to take those little flag
Yes, ma'am.
I think there were 2 of those, and
Yes,
all we have to
ma'am.
do is take them out and put them away, and they'd
Yep.
be in compliance, right?
Yep.
So you believe that's a reasonable amount of time to do that, right?
It could be done in a day, actually.
All right, thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23060283, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service via posting on July 5th. I'll find based on the photographs and the testimony of the code officer that the respondent's in violation of section 94402B25 and require compliance within 15 days or assessment of a fine in the amount of $150 per day and until the violation is complied.
Number 40, 14202 Glenmore Drive, CE 23060289.
Good afternoon, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On 621, the property at 14202 Glenmore Drive was cited for a rental license violation, certificate of use. This is a renewal. The property as well as City Hall was posted July 6th. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent June 23rd. Certified mail was received June 26th. I have also confirmed with the on-site property management that this property is still being rented. The owner has also indeed come into compliance, but not in a timely fashion, as this is a recurring theme with this property owner. Reinspection was set for July 7th. Compliance was achieved July 14th. With that being said, city's recommending a finding of fact on this case.
Thank you. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the posting of this notice of violation for this case at this property?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's it. You're seeking a finding of facts. Special Magistrate, excuse me, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. Can I see that notice of violation? You said they complied on 7/14. Your notice of violation required them to comply when? By?
I believe it was the 7th.
7/7. Okay. Very good. All right. In case CE 23060289, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the received certified mailing as well as the posting and affidavit of posting that the city has good service for today's hearing. I'll find that the respondent was in violation of sections 2232A and 22441, have since come into compliance but did not comply by the time specified in the notice of violation, so I'll grant and issue a finding of fact in this matter.
Number 41, 4101 San Marino Boulevard, 302 CE 23060305.
Good afternoon, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On June 23rd, the property at 4101 San Marino Boulevard, Unit 302, was cited for rental license violation and certificate of use. This is also a renewal. The property as well as City Hall was posted July 6th. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent June 23rd. Certified mail was received June 26th. The reinspection for this particular case was July 14th. The property did come into compliance on July 18th as of yesterday. Once again, this is a renewal. This is a recurring theme for this property owner. I did also confirm that the property was still being rented by the on-site property manager. With that being said, the city is recommending a finding of fact on this case.
Thank you very much. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in the file?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the posting of this notice of violation on this case at this property?
Yes, ma'am.
And Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. Can I see that notice of violation again in this one? All right, comply by 7/14. Okay, thank you. In case CE 23060305, for the record, the respondent is not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that the city has good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the testimony of the city code officer as well as the evidentiary case file that the respondents were in violation of sections 2232A, 22441. They are in violation. They've since complied, but they did not comply by the date specified in the notice of violation, so I will issue a finding of fact in this matter.
Number 42, 4223 Tazewell Court, CE 23060332.
Good afternoon, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On June 23rd, the property at 4223 Tazewell Court was cited for trash can placement. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted July 7th. Certified mail as well as regular mail went out June 27th. Certified mail was returned July 6th. The reinspection on this property was July 7th. Compliance was achieved yesterday, July 18th. With that being said, city is recommending a finding fact on this case.
Thank you very much. Is there an executed affidavit of posting on your file?
Yes, ma'am.
The photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the alleged violations and posting on this property?
Yes, ma'am.
And with respect to the garbage can, it's that their trash can was visible to the public on the days that were not the days that are scheduled for the actual trash pickup and the time that they give before and after for
Correct.
the trash can to be out, right? Okay. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. In case CE 23060332, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs and testimony of city code officer that the respondent's in violation of section 7434A1J, that the respondent has since complied but did not comply by the date specified in the notice of violation, so I'll issue a finding of fact.
Okay, and lastly, number 44, 4151 North Haverhill Road, 1507 CE 23060362.
Good afternoon, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On June 27th, the property at 4151 North Haverhill Road, Unit 1507, was cited for rental license violation, certificate of use. This is also a renewal. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted July 7th. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent out June 28th. Certified mail was returned July 16th. I did confirm with the on-site property manager that the property is indeed still being rented. Reinspection was set for July 10th. The property came into compliance July 12th. With that being said, city's recommending a finding of fact on this case.
Thank you. Is there an executed affidavit of posting in your file?
Yes, ma'am.
And the photographs that we've been reviewing, do they truthfully and accurately depict and represent the posting of the notice of violation in this case for this address at this property?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to submit as evidence a copy of the case file, including but not limited to the notice of violation, affidavit of posting, certified mailing documents, photographs, and any and all other documents relied upon.
Thank you. Let me just look at that one. Okay, 710. Okay, in case CE 23060362, for the record, the respondent's not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the affidavit of posting that you have good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the testimony and of city code officer as well as the evidentiary case file that the respondent's in violation of section 2232A and section 22441. I'll find that the respondents came into compliance on July 12th, but that was after the date specified in the notice of violation, so I'll grant the finding of fact.
Thank you.
That completes the agenda.
Paul,
All right, with that, we will stand adjourned at 12:27.
favor. Take this for G.
I knew you had your little stalker out there today.
I know, I heard. What's
That
wrong
joker
with him?
refused to move from that door. I had to send G out there.
That's fine, I'll cross them out.
That he had to
Okay.
wait. I
And I
told
tried to
him that the
explain
man
that to
was
him. I said,
gonna have
look,
to come out
they're
in
going
his
through
favor.
400 applications.